Hey guys. Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? I don't know where my Rebecca is. Is everybody here? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Get a yes, no, maybe so. Can anybody see me? Okay, so you guys hear me. I don't know where Rebecca is. Rebecca. I haven't checked any emails, so maybe something came up or something. All right, guys, let me just check my email real quick. Um, Hang on one second. Sorry about that. Let me just check. I've been taking care of the dogs and myself. Guys, there's a lot of letters here. Thank you so much for Nick. So there's more since I printed out. So thank you guys. I think that we're going to make a difference here. I think we're going to make a difference here. So um I don't know where Rebecca is. I'm texting her. Well, not texting her. Emailing her saying, "Hey, you coming? Are you coming? Guys, how are you? How was the weekend? How was Mom's Day?" I was looking for my beverage. How is everybody today? Does anybody got anything to say? Not sure? You're not sure? Hey Jamie, how you doing? Kathleen, how are you? I saw you on Morbids last night. Well, I heard your name and I saw you in the chat. You cried your eyes out all day. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, Shauna. Good morning. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. At some point, but I don't think I really want a kitten, to be honest with you. I think that me and my two dogs going into a little RV is probably plenty. You know, I'm gonna spill that if I don't see it, I reckon. So guys, I just want to give Rebecca a minute to see if everything's all right. Um so my Mother's Day was good. It was nothing exciting. I kind of just stayed, and I was sick the 2 days previous too. I had a migraine that I couldn't get rid of. Hey turtle. So yeah. Eva Poplalo. I don't do pets. They're the best things. I think they're the best things. Let me see. I don't know if I have Rebecca's phone number. So hang on one second. We can still continue without her, but I'm just a little concerned because I know how much she looks forward to these. So hopefully she's okay. Yeah, I don't have Rebecca Mitchell. Oh, do I? I do. Let me see. Oops, hang on. Hang on one second. All right, so I'm just sending her a text message just to make sure everything's okay. So guys, Rayru. I never heard of Rayru. How you doing? Hi, Tie Dye Gammy. How you doing? Yeah, the gyps stuff is happening, isn't it? Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Tie Dye Gammy, to hear about that. I'm really sorry. So I like when you guys say hello to each other. I send my condolences. Yeah, a lot of people send their condolences. So yeah. He was the van guy. Is that who he was? Is that what you're saying? He was the van guy? Guys, how was everybody's week? Was it a rough week for anybody? Anybody got anything that they need to talk about or say? I see that obviously tie-dye gammy definitely, had a rough time. So yeah, I don't know where Rebecca is. Hopefully things are going to get better. My kids, 2 weeks ago, he was a YouTuber. You said, yeah. Morning all from West Coast, Cat Lady. Hello, Vanessa. Rosalind, hello. He was a van guy, meaning he lived in a van. Is that what you're talking about? Rolling Earth, Earth ship. Your mom, Kathleen. I spoke to my mom. She was still in bed. It's so hard for her. Where she lives now, the insurance company isn't covering the doctor. It's so fucked. For people to get a doctor's appointment anymore, it's obscene. How do you let somebody of that age not have a doctor because they changed the insurance and no longer do you take her insurance? You live in a building. She lives in a building where the doctor's supposed to be right there. It's unbelievable. Life is hard. It ain't getting easier. Life is hard. Milk, Honey, and Mayhem, you're more than welcome to come up. Hi from Sydney. Hi, Debbie. This week has started better than last week ended, so all good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Hi, Jan. Had my lumbar MRI on Saturday. My discs are degenerating like Alka-Seltzer tablets in water. I'm sorry to hear that, Vanessa. Life is precious. I was in a car accident last week that I should not have walked away from, but God's grace, I'm alive. I'm glad about that, Turtle. Glad about that. This is ridiculous. This is not United States of America. You got to wait 6 weeks to see your heart doctor. And this is just unbelievable. I think they want to kill us. So, I mean, does that sound terrible? Good morning, Night Monkey. St. Louis, Missouri. Grays grown green. Gray grows green. It is insane. It's so hard. It's so hard just to make it in this world. I was watching something where they were saying salary was supposed to be like 30%. So, okay, an apartment was supposed to be like 30% of your salary. And then, you'd have a car payment, you'd have insurance and food and all that. But with the cost of living in the apartments now, and not just in New York, but it seems like it's throughout the United States, that you have to make at least $80,000 to live in a small 1-bedroom apartment. $80,000, a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of money. And mind you, this stuff basically just happened after the pandemic, so it's like, you think everybody got a cost of living increase after the pandemic to jump up to this? Healthcare is a human right, just not in this country anymore. My ex was a serviceman, said it costs less for healthcare if there's less people. I believe it. I don't understand what you're saying. I mean, it would be less if there's less people, but I don't understand. The only care until you were born. Living after that is a privilege, not a right. Pay to play. That is America. It's not the way it should be. It should be that the human being is more important than the dollar, but it's not. There's absolutely, now that's terrible. And when are you supposed to retire? Do you know if I was to retire at 65, I make like $1,800 a month. How could I live off of $1,800 a month? I've worked 2 jobs most of my life. How would I live off of $1,800 a month? They call this the American dream. I don't want to get political because that's not what this channel is about. But Monday mornings is about struggle and trying to make it in this world, and recovery and relapse and sobriety and struggles and pain and happiness and heartache and just life in general. And this is life in general. This is life in general. To get the MRI, that's crazy. Absolutely nuts. They're definitely trying to get rid of the middle class, in my opinion. You're very fortunate. You're very, very fortunate. Thank you, man. Don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate that. No, they're not into healing people. It's horrible. And it's just terrible. It's totally ridiculous, the healthcare. You know, I'm so grateful because of my job. My insurance is there. I mean, I pay for it each week, but it's there. You know what I mean? Or each pay period. It's just terrible. I'm not waiting till I'm 72 to retire. Fuck that shit. Who's to say I'm going to live that long? I want to enjoy life. I worked hard. I hope Rebecca's okay too. I haven't heard anything from her. So, wait a minute. Here she is. Here she comes, and just a walking down the street singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-dum. Rebecca, you
Don't,
are live. You are live. I just want you to know you're live.
I'm saying don't write me up for being late. I have an excuse.
That's okay. How you doing? We were just a little concerned about you.
I'm okay. I'm driving. I just have oh, I can't get my car to go. Here we go. I told you I'm moving soon, so I just had to come to the house that I'm moving to let the painter in. And but now I'm driving, but somebody else is holding the phone because I don't have one of those holder thingies. So
Yeah, but I don't want you to look at the phone. I want you to look at the car. Look, just look ahead. Drive
oh
yourself.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying.
Okay. Yeah, don't look
Anything
at the
over there?
phone. So
Good. So,
everybody knows that you're safe now. I'm
yes,
glad
yes.
about that.
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry about that.
Nope,
I
that's
was
okay.
trying to do my best to get it all done, but everybody seems to want that 9 o'clock slot.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
um,
So how's the move going? Is the move going okay?
well, we're just getting the house painted and some work done before we move in. We don't actually
Okay.
close until the 22nd, but we were allowed to go in and do some work, so it'll be ready, um, you know, for the
Right.
22nd, so we don't have to wait, once we close. So I expect that the move should go smoothly. We're not doing it alone. I'm going to have somebody do it. So
Right.
it should be okay. It should go okay. I mean, moving sucks, but I think it'll be all right.
Absolutely. I'm not looking forward to it, and I don't have all that stuff to move, and I'm not doing it either on my own. I'm getting people to help me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So we were just talking about how difficult healthcare was in this country and how hard it is actually to even get an appointment. My mom, she moved into that assisted living center, and then she's been going to the doctor there. She's been there for a couple of years, about 3 years now, and she's been going to the doctor there, and now the new doctor doesn't take her insurance. And I mean, these people live in that place so that because they don't have cars and stuff.
Right.
So now she's got to deal with trying to change insurance and stuff. And these people, they don't answer the phone half the time. It's such a job anymore. It's
No,
just
I have a similar experience with not so much my medical doctors, but my mental health doctors, my psychiatrist and therapist. It changes from time to time because, oh, this one's no longer in your network. So then I have to get somebody new and tell my story all over again, and it happens, I want to say, every couple of months. Oh, that therapist is no longer accepting your insurance, so you're going to have somebody new. And it's not okay. I mean, how are they in my network and then they go out of network? What? I don't understand. And
yeah,
it's tough.
that happened with my doctor. I had a doctor that I really, really liked, and she just said she wasn't dealing with the insurance companies anymore, and she moved to New Jersey. So I don't even know that she's a doctor anymore. But they fight you on everything, like on every single thing. And it's just it'll make you sick. It'll make you sick to your stomach, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
we were
I know.
talking.
Oh, go
Um,
ahead.
I had watched something on. It was one of the news stations, and it was talking about inflation. It was talking about how to live comfortably, your rent or your mortgage shouldn't be more than 30% of your pay, right?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So
good luck.
yeah, so people are saying so they said like a $2,000 a month, whatever, right? You got to make like $80,000 a year. So Kathleen Fleckred, that's $6,500 a month. Who's making that money? I mean, I want to know who's making that money.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know how. I always say the young people do it. I see a lot more adult children moving back home, and I have, my son and my daughter both live with me.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine where they would go. They don't make 80,000 a year. Not even close. Probably
Of
half
course.
of that. And where are you going? Rents here, like where I currently live. If I stayed here and signed a new lease in August, my rent would be 3,500 a month. When I got here, it was 2,100. You know,
How long have
it's
you been living in the house?
almost 5 years.
That's still a hell of an increase. That's a
Well,
$1,300
he jumped it up in one lease.
COVID.
He $500 he increased it at one point, and I said, "What, are you crazy?" Oh, that's the current market value. I said, "Yeah, maybe for something where work has been done and improvements have been made, but you've done nothing here. Like, I don't understand it, you
Right.
know." So, but yeah, it would, if I stay and sign another lease, it will be 3,500, and nothing has changed. Nothing, no improvements were made. I don't know how people do it. And, buying this house, I'm going to pay a little less a month, but it'll be mine, you
Yeah.
know?
And you had to come up with money on top, obviously. But
Yes.
at least you're paying into something.
Yeah. And it's mine. It's an investment, it's my house. It's not somebody else's house. And, I mean, I couldn't afford to stay here and pay that much. It was making me sick to think about it.
Right, right,
That's what
right.
I just couldn't. And I said, I don't want to rent again. I need, I just need to find a place that I can afford. And I, excuse me, I looked at a couple places and I'm like, well, they just didn't do it for me. And I kept coming back to this farmhouse. It was old. It was built in the 1800s, but the price was right, and I could see myself there. And I thought, I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I just jumped right, like I had to have it. That was it. And like I said, I mean, be paying a little less per month that I, would be paying for rent, but at least it's mine.
And it's
And
not going to increase every month.
right, yeah, you can't raise my rent or whatever.
Right.
It's so, but like I said, the rents, and I don't know that many people that can say they bring home 8,000, 10,000 a month. I mean, nobody I hang out with now, you know, back in the day when I was married and, to my first husband, I mean, he made great money and I did at that time too, but those days are over. I mean, he still does, but I don't. I
Right.
don't know how many
Right.
people do. Young people, especially like my daughter, Brianna, they rent, and their rent goes up a little bit each year, but not a whole lot, not quite what mine went up to, but they want to move, but then you have to try to save money to buy a house, but you're having to pay these high rents. So how do you do it? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't, the thing is that it doesn't seem, when you don't have, and this falls into the things that we talk about anyway, when there is nothing to look forward to, when used to be, when I remember when I was living with my dad, and we lived for a short period in a place called Singer Island, in West Palm Beach. It was in West Palm Beach County, and I remember taking a walk over to the grocery store and stuff. And I remember, like, I thinking to myself, well, when I'm older, I'm gonna buy, like, I like pictured my groceries and just my house and stuff, something to look forward to, right? Because
Right.
that's the dream. That's what, that's what you're told, that one day you're gonna have your own family, one day you're gonna have your own life, one day you'll have your own decisions, you'll eat what you want when you want to, when you're an adult and everything like that, right? And
Right.
then now, I mean, I've been living on my own basically since I was about 18, 19 years old, but some of the places have not been the greatest places. Some of them were just what I could afford. And then,
Right.
with 2 or 3 jobs, this place isn't the greatest place yet. I think it's really expensive. It doesn't offer anything except basically let me have 2 dogs to,
Right.
come here and stuff. And I just didn't want to, I just I can't, they were going to increase the rent here. And it wasn't all by that much, but it's like, I don't get a lot of chance to save money here,
Right.
where when I move, it should be half. So I'm going to be able to save money and stuff. But without the YouTube, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that. Now,
Oh
what if
wow.
that wouldn't have happened for me? If that wouldn't have happened for me, I would be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest, and I haven't shared this with a lot of people, my family and, a few friends know, but the only reason I was able to buy this house is because I was injured at my job just before Corey was taken away.
Right,
I was injured at my job. I got hurt. I had to have a spinal fusion surgery. I have to have another one. And I sued my employer. So I got a little settlement. And that's the only way I was able to buy this home. And I didn't pay cash for the house because the settlement wasn't enough, but it was
right,
enough to put a nice down payment on the house. That's the
right.
only way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to buy this house, if we must be
And then
honest.
what would have happened? Then you'd be in an apartment that you couldn't even afford.
That I can't afford. Yeah, because now I'm disabled and not working, and it's yeah. So I'm going to be honest, that's the only way I bought a house, was because I filed a lawsuit against my employer, and I was given
Right,
and
right, right.
otherwise this is it. I would have just been paying the 3,500 somehow, don't know how. And that's because there's nothing cheaper here. So that would have been my life, just struggling and wondering how we're going to pay this month, and are we going
Yeah,
to eat
living
this
like
month?
that. See, living like that, it causes depression,
Yep.
and that causes, not good mental health
Right.
at all.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. The stress, wondering how you're going to do this every month. Like I said, I don't know how the young people are doing it. My first apartment was like $585 a month. And those same apartments today rent for 2,800 a month, a one bedroom, so I don't know how the kids do it. I don't know how the young people are doing it.
yeah, they're all, well, they're
Yeah.
they're roommates. I mean, you can't live on, I mean, you can't
No,
live on your
no.
own, for real. You can't live on your own. And, you know, I don't know. To me, I was talking to somebody, I forget who I was talking to, but we were talking about the really, really wealthy. Oh, my friend. And she was talking about how Bezos' wife has given away a lot of money, and how, certain movie stars and athletes aren't giving so much to their kids, but they're giving away a lot of money to charities and such like that. Because what are you supposed to do with all that money? What do you do with millions and millions? I wouldn't know what to do with millions and millions of dollars at my age. I mean, you can't take it with
Wow.
you.
Right.
So wouldn't it be the best thing to, okay, I'm going to live comfortable. I'm going to make sure that the people I love live comfortable. And then, you know what? I want to make sure a bunch of people live comfortable.
Right. That's the best thing to do. That's what I would want to do, definitely. I what I'm doing now by buying this house and everything, it's for me right now, but it's also for my kids when I'm not here. I want to make sure they have something. And I've already had the discussion, like, okay, so this is what's going to happen. The two kids that live with me and will be living in this house, once I'm gone, they have to deal with Brianna. She's not going to live in it because she has her own life with, having
Right.
family and stuff. So they would have to buy her out. And she said, I don't want anything. Just let them keep it. And I thought that was nice. That
Yeah,
she said,
absolutely.
I don't need it. Let Jimmy and Nikki stay and keep, your house. So I thought that was nice of her to say that because she intends to do her own thing.
Right, right,
And
right,
but
right, right.
that was my goal. Like, I don't want to leave here and leave my kids in debt. Like, oh gosh, we have to pay for mom's funeral. What do we get? I'm not doing all that. I'm taking care of
Right,
all that because I don't want my kids to have nothing and wonder what to do with me when I'm gone and what are they going to do. So that was my goal. And I feel like I've accomplished it by getting this house. And if I live in it 10 years, then I'll be happy.
right,
You know,
right. Well,
that's it.
that's great though. That's great.
You know, yeah, yeah. I thought it was, it makes me feel good. So. But I sent you an email, but I don't think you got it because I wanted to know if anybody that's listening to us, is anybody listening? I don't even know. I can't tell who's here
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we got almost 100 people.
oh, good. Okay, good. So I want to know from the people listening, has their marriage suffered because of their substance abuse problem or because of a child having a substance abuse problem? Have you and your spouse argued over it, disagreed? I'm just curious to see how it's affected people, in a marriage. I don't know if
Okay.
anybody out there's had a situation, but I have. So that's why I wanted to know if
And
anyone
also,
else.
guys, it's an open panel. So anybody that wants to come up, they can come up. Kathleen
Yeah,
Flex
this
says,
morning.
huh? Kathleen Flex says, oh wait, no, that's something different. I'm sorry, Kathleen. She's paying for her own cremation, so her kids have nothing to do with that. I want my kids to dig a big. Okay, well, right now people are just talking about how they want to die because
Oh, well, yeah,
they
no,
can't
because
afford to be
we were
buried
on that.
either.
Right. We were kind of on that topic. I already told my kids, and this is me totally 100% being me. I don't want a funeral. I don't want people coming and saying, oh, whatever. Where are you now? I don't need to pay for a party at the end for people to come and look at me. I want to be cremated. If the kids don't want me, just leave me at the funeral home. I don't know what they'll do with my ashes, but I don't want that funeral. I don't want it. I can't stand flowers because they remind me of death. I don't that people come look at me in a cast, but they didn't look at me while I was here. I don't want to put my kids through a funeral. You know how hard that day or two is of viewings, and I don't want to do that
Yeah,
to them. Just let me go. I'm gone. You don't need to come and look at me like that. And that's what I want. So that's
my
my
whole
thoughts on
attitude
that.
toward yeah, my whole attitude toward that has changed as I've gotten older. I used to definitely not want to be cremated unless I was in more than one piece. So, I mean, unless there was a horrific something that happened and I was in more than one piece, that was the only way I wanted to be cremated. But now, fucking cremate me. Cremate me, throw me up to the wind. Just make sure that there's a little bit of me that gets thrown in Woodstock, New York. I'm good with that. So
Yeah, I know
that's my
Gino
thing.
wanted to be
All of
cremated
that is,
because
yeah, all of that has changed. Because when you're not here, you're not here.
right. Yeah, we're not going to really know what happens to us anyway. But I know Gino wanted to be cremated, and it had been talked about just from time to time. And then when it came down to it, I want to say it was Brianna said he wanted to be cremated. And I'm like, we can't do that. And she said, but that's what he wanted. And I just thought that was horrible. But then I'm like, well, I can't go against what he really wanted. So we did it. And now I'm okay with it. I feel like your soul is still going to go where it goes. I don't think that changes. So now I'm okay with it.
Oh, I hear you. I didn't mean to throw that referral link in there, guys. Don't listen. Don't pay attention. Somebody wanted, I think, to come up here and talk. I know, Hazel. Thank you. I think Jennifer wants to come up here to talk. So hang on one second.
Okay, great.
I'm going to go ahead and put this link up. This is the link, guys. My bad on the other link. Dust in the wind. Absolutely. Son is in rehab as we speak. The whole thing is so depressing for me and my son, Night Monkey. That's what Rebecca would love to talk about, to be honest. But Jennifer might have something too. Jennifer, all you got to do is hit up at that link and I'll see you in backstage and we'll put you up here. You guys can come up as long as we're staying on topic and being respectful. Otherwise, I will shut it down. There's no reason for anything other than us to come up here. So I got a Jenny up here. Jenny,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the channel.
Oh, we spoke this morning, right? Jen, is that you? Facebook?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Um,
Sorry, I'm moving around a little bit.
That's okay.
I just wanted to, I can't see what anybody's writing, so.
Yeah, I don't think you could read the comments in here, unfortunately, but I'm reading them.
Okay.
You got people saying hello to you. Wendy Dodson saying hello to you.
Well, hello, everybody. I have 14 years clean and sober today.
Congratulations. Good job, you. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Rebecca had reached out to me, right?
Yeah, this morning when I saw your post, I was very happy to see that. And I felt the need to reach out and let you know that. I think that's an accomplishment that some people don't see. And
yeah, a lot of people say congratulations in the chat, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. I was on pain management. I have a lot wrong with me physically, and I became addicted to fentanyl.
Ooh.
And my doctor had prescribed me 100 micrograms of fentanyl every 48 hours.
Wow.
And I was taking pills, painkillers on top of that, and a functioning addict.
So you were a functional, what I have a bad term that I call that. But anyway, that's what I call, that's what I used to call myself, a functional fuck up. But I was a functional fuck up back in the day.
Yes, I was a functional fuck up for sure.
But now 14 years sober. So that is wonderful. That is excellent.
Yeah.
Rebecca, you've got, okay. So Rebecca, you got to turn off your YouTube and just stay on StreamYard because there's a bad echo, Rebecca. So, but I shut Rebecca. You guys could hear that echo, right?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure where Rebecca is, but I was there, but the functions don't last long. Unfortunately, I don't know what that means. I'm missing something here in the chat. I'm sorry. It's a lot going on, guys. Hang on. Let me see. Rebecca. Okay. So Rebecca must have stepped down for a moment. She's no longer on the channel. So she'll be coming back, I'm sure, at some point. Down to pain management gets you so sneaky. Here you go. Here's something. I became an addict. Down to pain management gets so sneaky. I could went cold turkey just to deal with the pain. I'm not sure what that means, to be honest with you. Millennial, how you doing? So yeah, we're talking about, recovery, and oh, here's Rebecca. She's back. Hey, Rebecca.
Can you see me?
I can see you and hear you much better.
Now I can't see the screen, but I can hear, so I don't know what happened.
Well, you can't see the screen?
No,
I don't know why. We can see you.
that's so weird, isn't it?
There's got to be something what about, do you have something that's not like pushed in front of you or something?
I don't know. I can almost see it. It's just very light. It's so weird.
Oh, maybe it's the sun. Oh, maybe it's the phone. Maybe you accidentally hit the whatchamacallit in the phone,
I don't know. But anyway, it's okay. I can see good enough. It'll work as long as you can
Okay.
see me.
Yeah, we can see you. Good. So yeah, so Jenny was talking about, I don't know if you heard, but she was talking about, 14 years sober, and that she was given fentanyl, like an obscene amount of fentanyl.
Wow. Wow.
And
By my
so
dog.
are you on anything for pain now, or is it, I mean, just nothing, just, and you're still in pain?
I'm on which something I'm going off of. It's called gabapentin, but it made me gain weight, and
That's my problem with it.
it makes me groggy. So
Okay.
going off of it.
Yeah, that's for nerve damage. I'm on gabapentin.
Yeah, me too. I take it too. It does make you a little sleepy though. I do notice that.
I think I
Yeah.
have somebody else coming here. Hang on one second. Well, we
Okay.
got Jamie here. So
But I
guys,
just want to oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. This is Jamie, guys, from Milk Honey and Mayhem. But go ahead, finish up. Finish what you were
I
saying, Rebecca. Not finish up, but finish
No,
what
I
you were
just wanted to say about Jenny. We're friends on Facebook. I've never met her personally.
What happened to Rebecca? She got a phone call. I'm sorry. I guarantee you that's what happened to Rebecca. She got a phone call and got booted off. Yeah. Where's Becca Scoops? I don't see Becca in here, guys. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for letting me come up.
Not a problem. Share with us, Jamie. Share with us, please.
Well, I don't want to hijack the conversation here.
You're not
I just
hijacking
had
the
something to say
conversation.
about grief. Like yesterday was Mother's Day. Y'all know it was a hard one. But I figured out what was going on with me, why it was so hard, and it was interesting. So I thought I would share. I think this one was harder for me because I'm doing YouTube and I'm doing things that my mom would be really proud of. And more so than not being able to talk to her when, I'm struggling or whatever, this one hit hard because I'm doing so good. I know that she would just be so proud of me. And that was odd that grief came from that place.
Yeah, there's times when I'll do something on YouTube and I'll hear my dad say, "Nice job," and then
Yeah.
what he would call me. And I wish that he would have been around to see this, because he would be proud of me. Jen would be proud of me too. I hear her in
For
my
sure.
head as well. So I
I wish.
yeah, and even especially like the sobriety stuff,
Hmm.
and just the good stuff. I don't know how much about the YouTube drama with Gypsy Rose, but the
Oh,
stuff that I'm trying to do that's the right stuff for Nick, and this, and the things that, yeah, so but Jenny, tell us a little bit about your story, if you wouldn't mind. Stay with us,
yes,
Jamie, please. And
I will.
Rebecca will come back on at some point when she gets off the phone, because she just gets booted. That's what's going on right now. Oh, this is something right here. What happened there? Wait a minute. Okay. This is something that's very serious. A lot of people don't talk about this, with bulimia
Hmm.
and eating disorders. That's a very dangerous,
Hmm.
I don't want to say addiction, but a very dangerous problem.
Yeah,
It is.
I have an eating disorder,
Mm.
but I haven't acted out on it in many years. I'm also a former self harmer. I haven't self harmed in 13 years.
That's awesome. Now,
Uh,
did you go to therapy for any of this? Did you go into any kind of treatment? Can you
yeah,
share a little bit about that?
I'm bipolar with PTSD and anxiety, and OCD. And I've been in therapy for many years.
Wow.
Many years.
Wow.
You had a lot going on, like on top of the fentanyl um,
Yes.
problem. That's a lot
Dependency,
to deal with.
yeah.
That's a lot. But look
Yeah.
at you. I mean, you did it. You're here,
Yep.
right? I mean, I think that's why I wanted to talk to you. I thought, wow, I don't know much about fentanyl, just that it killed my son. And I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
know you could recover from it. I thought you take it, it kills you. That was my thought with fentanyl. If it's not in a hospital setting or something, I just assume if you take it, you're dead. That's I don't know
They
anything about
did give her
this.
that for pain, though. That's what they gave her for pain.
Wow, I just
So,
can you that's
well,
I can't imagine.
I think, I don't know how it works, but it seems like it can't be that it kills everybody. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be using it for
Right.
pain,
Yeah.
right? So there's got to be a way, or maybe they mix it with something that takes the
Well,
danger out of it. They just give you enough to, I don't know. I don't know,
I
but
don't
there's
know
got to
either.
be some sort of obvious benefit in it. Otherwise, if it just kept killing people in the hospital settings and stuff like that, obviously,
Right. Yeah.
you
I
know, there's
I
people
don't
here on
know.
fentanyl pain patches right here.
Yeah.
They're like, see, I don't mean to throw you up there, but your name's here. This is what it's about. It's a safe place. When I put your name up there, it's just for us to either talk about it, to give you guys credit, to let you know that you're seen. It's not for shame or anything. You guys should know that. I shouldn't even have to say that.
You mentioning the fentanyl patch, I worked in hospice for several years before I was injured. And when we would dispose of a fentanyl pain patch, we were like wearing gloves, putting it in a bag. And like we were so cautious because they put the fear of God in us about touching the fentanyl patch, so we
Of
were
course.
always so afraid to touch it. And, it was scary, and like I said, when realizing that these street drugs were being cut with fentanyl, that's scary. And, you know, I just, I don't know. I don't know how it happens, why it happens. I never realized that a doctor would prescribe fentanyl to somebody and leave you on your own to just take it. And
Right.
scary. It's
Well,
very
what's the
scary.
difference? What's the difference between that and the the con the OxyContin? Really?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
just think that fentanyl's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I
yeah,
mean,
but
I
I
was
think, go ahead.
OxyContin along with the fentanyl
wow,
for
wow,
breakthrough pain.
wow.
Wow. So were you taking fentanyl patches or were you taking pill? I don't know.
Patches.
See, the
Fentanyl
Wow.
patches I think are
patches.
time released.
Mm-hmm.
They're time released and it's going through your system
Yeah, I
in
was
a different
using.
way. So I think that that's one of the things, Rebecca, to be honest. Does anybody know, instead of me guessing, is anybody in the chat that understands about that? We can continue talking. I'm looking in the chat. I'm looking in the chat for stuff.
So
But I would
Jenny,
just,
can I ask you a question?
Ask,
What?
listen, wait, let me just say one thing. I'm sorry.
uh,
Anything that somebody does not want to answer, whether you're on the panel or not,
Right, you
all
can,
you have to say is, I don't feel comfortable answering that. And that's it. We stop it right
right,
there. You don't have to. We'll go on to the next thing. So
right,
just because you're up here doesn't mean you owe us answers to things you're
right.
uncomfortable answering, please.
Absolutely. But I just had a question for Jenny. What was your rock bottom? What made you say, I don't want to be like this anymore? If you
Great
don't mind
question.
answering, you don't have to answer, but if you don't mind.
no, I'll answer. I abused the patches and I ran out. And I asked my doctor to put me on Suboxone so I could withdraw because I had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old at home. And he said, no, that's not my problem.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Mm-mm.
It should have been his problem that he gave you so many drugs with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old at home, I think.
Absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
knowing that the addictive part of it, they should have known better, but the doctors, they they don't think outside,
That was the conversation we had before you came on, was how hard it is for doctors to care, and how hard it is to care. And here's somebody, this is something that I think should be considered. Street fentanyl is not going to be the same type of fentanyl that possibly a doctor
right,
would
yeah,
give you. So there's probably some other stuff in there. And this
Yeah.
is, doctors are not always educated or sympathetic. 100% true there. 100% true there.
So what happened was, I ended up, I think God interfered, and I ended up getting high off of other stuff, and I lost it. And my daughter was taking pictures of me puking in the toilet. My husband called the ambulance. Now, mind you, my kids were never not taken care of. I was a functioning addict.
We're not here to
Right.
judge you, too. Please know
No,
that. Nobody's
definitely
judging
not.
you.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but I feel the need to say that
Sure.
um just to explain my story. But I ended up in the hospital, and I ended up in detox, and they asked me my drug history, and they said, Mrs. Craparata, we do not know how you are not dead or in a coma.
Right. Wow.
See,
That
I think that that's neglect from the doctor to give
Yeah.
somebody so much stuff.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I really do think that that's neglect, especially you have somebody reaching out to you and saying, you know, please, get me off of this.
Mhm.
So she's not saying, give me all these prescriptions. She's saying, stop this one prescription,
Right.
right? And give me this prescription so that I can wean myself off of those prescriptions. So take 3 away, give me one.
Wow.
And we know what this medication is for. And I think that, I think that comes down to the medical care in this country and the
Mhm.
money and the
Yeah.
money in this country.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got people writing here, doctors do whatever they want. Getting
Yeah.
by in USA is no American dream.
Mhm.
Now we're talking about ED. Okay. Let's see. I heard.
I mean, I agree about the eating disorder. That is horrible. I struggled with that for so long.
Me too.
Um, it's more for me, it was control. When everything else in my life was going out of control, I couldn't do anything. I could control what I put in my body. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is as well. I haven't experienced that, but I do know people firsthand that have experienced that, and that's what I was told it was it is about control.
Yeah.
I knew
Right.
a guy that had it, and that's really
Yeah.
uncommon. That's really
But it
uncommon.
happens.
And I remember seeing him, and I thought, this was back in the 90s, so AIDS was very fresh.
Mhm.
And I remember asking the person that was in common with us, and they said no, he had anorexia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that weird, but that'll get you high. I spoke with him,
Mhm.
and what got him high was when he'd be so dizzy from not
Mhm.
eating that that's what happened to him.
Yeah, your
Wow.
body releases endorphins
Wow.
when you go so long without eating. Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to our friend Jenny, but Jenny, somebody is saying the
Oh, there
strength.
she is.
I figured she didn't go too far. The strength she must have had to ask the doctor is admirable. I could not have done that. So you
I
got
second
people,
that. Yes.
because listen,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of strength to say
Mhm.
I'm helpless over this.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
I still can't believe he said that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should have sued him when I got out of
Mhm.
detox.
Yeah, I guess he felt like he was no longer
gave
going to
him
be
a
able
bad
to
review.
prescribe and treat you, so he didn't want to be bothered with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a shame.
And I would definitely write a nice review. Why not?
Oh yeah.
I would definitely write a nice review.
Yeah.
So we have my mom was in pain management and she asked to be changed to something lower. They refused and she just ended up quitting pain meds and now
Mhm.
lives in pain. That is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their doctors are not there to help people in the United States, in my opinion, anymore.
Mm-mm.
No, no,
And they get nailed. What they do is they get nailed because the insurance companies, they only allow certain medications too,
Mhm.
because I've had that problem, and
right.
certain procedures when they might not be the procedures that works best for you,
Right.
so
I feel like, now doctors aren't able to prescribe the way they used to, obviously. I know for myself, I take gabapentin for my nerve issues, but I don't get any pain medication. But the medications my psychiatrist gives me, I have to go have a drug test randomly. Can you imagine that?
to
Mm-hmm.
show that
And
it's
I'm
inside
like,
your system, right?
yeah, 54 years
Crazy.
old, and I'm here for a drug test. I feel so ridiculous.
I
Like,
get
but I get it. They have to make sure I'm taking what they're prescribing, and
Yeah.
only that, I guess. But it's
No,
just so
they're making
funny.
sure you're not selling it.
I
Yeah, that's what I'm
guess.
thinking.
I
That's what they're
guess.
doing. No, 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 that's what it is.
They don't care
They
if you
told
take
me.
it as long as you're not putting it on the
They
street.
told
Yeah,
me.
maybe that's what it is. I didn't
Mhm.
think of it that way, but yeah, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh
Oh
my
no,
gosh.
I'm on pain management and I have to go in, but they always tell me when I'm going in. So I don't know
Yeah,
why, but because they said to me that it has to be in the system to make sure that I'm not selling it. They told me up front. And I was like,
well,
yeah, if I was selling it, I wouldn't be like dying for money here, you know what I'm saying?
right, right.
But you know,
Exactly.
but they always told me when I was going for my for my drug test, and that's fine because I'm not messing around. But what's sad is if I don't have to take anything that day, I have to take something that day to at least have it in my system, right?
Right.
So all right. So if I don't have to take it for a weekend, I got to take it for one day, not one time. You know what I'm saying? Then
Mhm.
it is what it is.
And it's
I'm
just
having a
ridiculous
bad
how
hair
they
day.
use
That's
that.
why I'm sitting here where the way I am.
Oh yeah, we don't see you, Toddie, or at least I can't see you.
No. Nobody can see me. I have the thing up. I'm just having a bad hair day, to be honest. I'll probably come back on it, but I'm reading as well. I was on gabapentin. Here's one. I was on gabapentin for nerve damage. It didn't help with the pain. I would get horrible headaches. That's weird because I just suffered really bad headaches the past 2 days, and
Hmm.
I have gabapentin. I don't take it all the time. Now,
Yeah.
I,
I'll take my pain medicine because I agree, it doesn't always work. It works on very specific things,
Mhm.
but like if you touch my left ear, I feel it under my chin. I like have serious nerve damage,
Nerve
and
damage.
sometimes it feels like my ear is bleeding, like it really hurts bad. That's the nerve stuff, but then the other pain, I don't know that it's nerve pain. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's really weird.
It's funny you should say that about feeling pain elsewhere, because when I guess I was about 40 something, don't ask. I decided to get a tattoo on my stomach. We don't want to go there now, but anyway,
Show us. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I,
I'm joking. I'm
I can't
joking.
Right
even
on,
find it.
Rebecca.
Toddy, I
I'm
don't
jo-
even know where it went. It looks like a big ink blob. But anyway, when I went to get this tattoo, the guy's doing it, and I was nervous it was going to hurt because I only had one other one on my wrist and it was a tiny one. And
right.
when he was doing it, I kept getting these jabbing pains in my shoulder. The guy must have thought I was crazy because I kept grabbing my arm and he's looking at me like, I'm not touching your arm, I'm on your stomach. But
Yeah,
that's
you're
where I
having a heart
felt the
attack,
pain. It was just pain
he
that I was
must
feeling in
have
my
been
shoulder.
he
right?
must have been an idiot because when you get tattooed, now I'm covered, ladies. I mean, you could see my neck and
If
my
you
chest.
I love that throat ink, by the way.
Thank you.
Jenny, you can shout out to your business if you want. Maybe somebody will stop in and get tattooed. I don't
Oh,
care if you mention
yeah.
it. Toddie, do you care?
No.
I own a tattoo shop in Englishtown called Battlefront Tattoo with my husband and the partner. I'm a body piercer.
Right on.
My husband's a tattoo artist, and
And a
when
very good
I,
one. Everybody knows him.
Nice.
yeah,
Oh, cool.
when
Yeah.
I got tattooed on my elbow, I felt it in my ribs.
Oh wow. So I'm not a freak then. That happens.
No, and if your artist is like, "What do you mean?" He's an idiot because that's how tattoos work. They hit your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, it was
my
odd.
I got my hands done, and this one's my favorite hand tattoo. I don't know if you could see it, but anyway, I got my hands done and I felt it shooting up my arms.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. When
What
they
So
were
happened to that
doing my
Indian guy?
elbow, the guy, he was hitting that nerve, sort of like your reflex on your knee when they'll pop it and your knee pops out. Every time he would hit a certain place, my arm would bounce out like that, which was troublesome for him because the way he had me positioned is my arm was between his legs. So I kept having to apologize.
So Christine Covey, sorry to hear that. She lost her cousin yesterday to alcohol, and it's not
Oh,
real yet. I'm really sorry
I'm
about
sorry.
that.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
sorry.
close with a couple of my cousins, so I don't know if you were close with him or not, but I am so sorry
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
to hear that.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Christine.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really
And
sad.
also for the loss of someone's cat earlier. I saw that. I wanted to
Yeah,
make note.
Oh
I get
God,
that. I'm so
so
sorry.
sorry for that too.
Mm.
yeah, for sure. So somebody asked me about my nerve damage. Mine's from Lyme. It wasn't from an accident, it's from Lyme disease.
Mm.
Mhm.
I have fibromyalgia, neuropathy, osteoarthritis, 2 herniated discs, 3 bulging discs, degenerative disc disease,
Oh goodness.
tunnel, chondromalacia patella.
Wow. You got a lot of stuff. That's
A
you hit
lot.
the jackpot with that for sure, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
why I was on pain management.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
So
Wow.
I just live in pain every day, all day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know what
tough.
the alternative would be. There are things
Oh, wait, before you say that, I don't mean to interrupt, but I found out that Effexor, which is an antidepressant, is similar to gabapentin. So my doctor just prescribed me Effexor. So I'm taking the last of the gabapentin. I have like 2 or 3 days left, and then I'm going on to the Effexor.
Mm.
okay. I don't know anything about that, but
Well, hopefully that
um
works.
yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so.
So I just hope it doesn't make me groggy.
I've heard that one will. I've heard some problems with that one.
What affects her?
Effects, or what are you taking now?
Um,
Gabapentin.
No, I
well,
mean for mental health wise, are you taking anything mental health?
yes, I'm on
Well, make sure
Ray,
with your
Vraylar.
doctor that it doesn't co-react and you don't have to have a gap between coming off of one and going on to another. Sometimes you do.
Oh no, the doctor didn't say anything about it.
Okay.
Christine, Rebecca's very interested in this topic about how it affects families and stuff. I don't know if you'd ever want to come on panel, but
Mhm.
we'd like to hear about that, how it
Yeah,
affects.
I'm curious, because I was,
Or you could just
my
write it in the comments if you want. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rebecca.
no, I was just saying I'm curious how other families deal with, having someone suffering from, substance abuse because in my marriage, I was married to my first husband, you know, and our son Gino was addicted. And my husband, and I don't know if he's listening to this show or if he's ever going to hear it, but he treated him so badly
Mm,
that my son would say to me, "Do you see why I'm like this?" You
mhm,
know, no matter what he did, he could be doing great, have a good job doing the right thing. My husband never pat him on the back and said, "Good job, son." Not, he
mm,
always just never had a kind word. And I don't know if it was just an excuse that Gino would use that, "Oh, it's because of dad I'm like this." You know, maybe that was just his excuse to use. I don't know. But my husband wasn't nice to him, and it caused a lot of problems, you know, and obviously Gino's addiction outlived my marriage to my husband. And after we, you know, we were going through our divorce, and Gino was homeless from time to time, and he happened to be living in near Philadelphia where his father was living after our divorce. And Gino called me one night and said, "I'm sleeping, I'm laying outside of a Wawa so I can use the electric outlet to charge my phone." And he's like, "Dad just walked into Wawa and stepped right over me and wouldn't even say hello to me." That killed me. That I don't
mm,
care what's going on. You know, I get Vito not wanting to give him money because he would use it for drugs, but
mhm,
how do you leave your child sleeping outside in the
mm,
cold in the middle of winter at a Wawa and walk right past them like you
mhm,
don't know them? That killed me.
mm.
You know,
That's
and I don't know if anybody else has experienced similar things, you know, where, you know, you and your spouse don't agree with how, you know, if it's your child or another loved one, or just in general, how it affects the family. I'm just curious how it affects other people.
Well, I have something similar to that. I had a daughter. I have a daughter with my best friend. We're both gay, so we were never married or anything, but we tried to raise her together. So he got on some pretty bad stuff. He was on like bath salts and all that mess. And she had severe scoliosis. And when she was about 14, she had to have a complete spinal fusion.
Oh,
So it was
boy.
around this time that his addiction got worse, which I could see that. But he was living in Atlanta with his partner at the time, and his partner called me all in a panic, because Amy was crying and asking for him and this and that, and I hadn't heard any. I mean, she was fine, she was spending the night with her friend, and then he showed up at my house. He had driven all the way from Atlanta just because, and I got the story. He told his boyfriend it was because Amy had called him crying and needed him, which she
Mm,
hadn't. And he had told his boyfriend that, but his boyfriend had recently just told him, "You got to stop the drugs or you're out the door. You're out the door." So he was creating all this drama that wasn't there,
mm,
just to be able to have an excuse to push off, you know. And then his boyfriend was on the phone with me trying to get me to call his sister to do a 5150, and I'm just like, "You
uh,
guys, my kid's having surgery next week. Can we not do this?"
mm,
And yeah, it's rough. And she hasn't really spoken to him much after that. He didn't come see her at the surgery. And I tell her all the time, "Your father is a great person. It's the drugs that caused this. I wouldn't have had a baby with him if he wasn't a great person, you know."
right.
But she doesn't really talk to him that much. And
Wow.
it's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
um
Yeah. Go
asked
ahead.
a
I'm
question
sorry.
before that said, do 12-step programs work? And I have to say yes. I'm in NA, but you have to work the program.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you could go to meetings all day long, but if you don't get a sponsor, you don't do step work, you don't get a network of
Mhm.
women or men in your life, it's never going to work. You
Right.
have to put the
Mhm.
effort
Mhm.
into the program for it to work.
Absolutely.
Right. That's what I learned with my son. No matter how much I wanted him to be clean, it had to be him that wanted it. Me wanting it
Mhm.
wasn't helping him. You
Mhm.
know, he had to do the
Yeah,
work.
like I didn't get clean because of my kids or my husband. I got clean because I was tired of using.
Right.
Mhm.
I was tired of it. It became a job.
Right.
going to the doctor, trying to make sure I don't run out. If I run
Yeah.
out, do I have backups? All that stuff. It just became a career that I wanted to quit.
Yeah. I know my son would say to me, "Do you think I want to be like this?" He said I don't want to be like this. He would tell me that all the
Yeah.
time, and I'm like, "Well, just stop then. You don't understand. You really don't if you're not experiencing it." So I would
That's
just say to him,
where
"Well, stop."
Al-Anon and those support groups
Mhm.
help.
You
Mhm.
have to have people around you that you trust that you can talk to when you're getting
Mhm.
clean.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Yep, you do. Ladies, I have to go. I have to get my day started.
It
But
was
I
a pleasure.
want-
People had asked,
Yeah.
where is it in New Jersey where the tattoo shop is?
yes, it's in Englishtown, New Jersey.
And what's it called?
Battlefront Tattoo Company.
Okay, very cool. English Town, New Jersey.
Right
Yep.
around the
Ever make it
corner
up
from
that
me.
way?
11 Water Street.
Cool. All right,
Uh,
thank you.
Jenny, I
Thank you
might
so
stop
much.
in and see you. I live right there. I live right by Quick Check. I might stop in and see you someday soon.
Okay, cool. I'm there Wednesdays through Saturdays.
Okay, great. I'll stop in.
All right, wonderful. Bye, ladies. Thank you so much for allowing me to come
I'm
on.
waving goodbye and I'm not even
Or-
like,
Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. We appreciate that. It
Yes.
took a lot of courage for you to do that. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Good luck.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we're going to drop the link again because there was a few people that have some experience with, I think, what you were talking about, Rebecca, as far as
With like the family.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anybody that respectfully, and the topic is this, if we could stay on that, that would be great. I was on methadone for 8 years, on Suboxone for 12. Grateful for the medication. That's excellent.
Good.
Are you still on
Wonderful.
Suboxone, Crystal? Are you still on Suboxone? I just wanted to know out of curiosity. I don't mean to put you on the spot. You could ignore me if you want. Did I put the link up? What are you laughing at me for? Here's the link, guys. Anybody that wants to jump on
Toddie, I'm
board.
just happy. I'm happy to be here with you and all of these other people. I don't know how much I can tell you what this Monday morning means to me.
But you do. You tell me every Monday, so we
Are you
get it.
tired of hearing
I
it?
appreciate it. No, I'm
It
not
means the
tired.
same thing to
I
all
don't
of
want
us, Rebecca.
I don't want you at all to think that I don't hear it or that
Good.
I do. I know, and I think we're doing some really good stuff here. I really do think that people are talking, and if they're talking to somebody today, maybe that gives them the courage to talk to somebody and pick up a phone or do
Right.
something.
Right.
I mean, so that's I'm all for that. I'm here. This isn't. I don't owe you any. This is no favor. This is something that we talked about doing together, and as long as it's helping people, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
So
No,
this is
I'm happy to do it.
great. This is Crystal Penny, and stay, Jamie, stay with us. Not that you're
Okay.
going anywhere anyway, but stay with us.
Hello,
So
ladies.
we got Crystal Penny here. So Crystal was talking to us, so she's able. Go ahead, just go ahead. I don't want to interrupt, Crystal. The floor is
Sure.
yours.
Sure, guys. It took me a moment. I've never jumped on a live before in my life.
Well, welcome.
But you mentioned me, so I figured I'd hop on here. Yeah, I was on Suboxone, or I was on the methadone for many, many years. And then when Suboxone, it was kind of a newer drug back then, but I got on it as soon as it was available. And I have been on it ever since. I have watched many of my friends, many of my family pass away and die that weren't able to kind of get onto the program and get onto the medication. So and it's not alone, of course. The medication alone does not just keep you sober. If you don't want to be sober, the medication's not going to work.
Right.
But I have watched, and I'm telling you, it's been about 20, 25 funerals over the last probably 10, 15 years, about
Wow.
15 years. Everyone I know from the streets is gone now. And this continues up until this day. And a lot of those people have been on methadone, Suboxone too, but it was never for the right reasons, I guess you could say. Like they would sell their medication
Right.
or trade it for drugs. So it really depends. If you want it, it's there, and it's a wonderful program to be on. But it's not a all. It doesn't work alone.
Right. Right.
Well, let me ask you. I want to ask you a question. First of all, Rebecca, there's a note to you here that I'm pinning.
Yeah, I see it. It made me tear
Okay.
up a little bit.
Okay. All right. So, and then
Thank you.
there was something else. I don't think Rebecca is going to be able to answer this question. But I'm going to put it up there, Jeanette. I just don't think that she's going to know the answer to that. Do you see the question here, Rebecca?
What does it say?
I have a question for Rebecca. I'm inquiring, how long does a person have to be on methadone or Suboxone until they can stop it after addiction?
I don't have an answer for that. From what I'm learning from others using taking Suboxone, and methadone, I feel like they wean you down, but do they ever take you off? I wouldn't have the answer to that. I'm curious to know
I
that
think
as
the
well.
answer, so I think that if you could go ahead and answer the question, Penny,
Yeah.
do you
So
have an answer to that?
yeah, it's different for every person. It's a lot of probation officers, a lot of of the doctors that don't know the medication very well will do it quickly. Like, okay, you're sober now. They use it a lot in detox as well. Um, we got you sober. You should be feeling better now. Then you're good. But then you go right back into yourself, yourself and your own feeling. For me, it's going to be a lifelong thing. I'm 42. I started this journey when I think I was 21. So it's been a journey, but I have tried to get off of it. Um, but let me tell you what it does do. It fills those receptors, and it makes you feel like a normal person. I don't get high. I don't feel groggy during the day, anything like that. I just feel normal. And without it, there's a lot of craving. Um, the craving, I think, is for me the the best part about Suboxone, because it takes that craving away. I mean, it completely does. They're now saying that you can use it for other drugs like meth and alcohol, and it takes that craving away as well. And that's why it works so well. And it keeps you from getting sick as well. But you do become addicted to it. So there is that part where people say it's trading one addiction for the other, which I totally understand. But I would rather be on it than dead.
Right.
And I'll just be honest with you. So it's
Do
a
you
life.
get- I'm
It's a life
sorry.
decision. It really is a life decision, whether how long you want to be on it for.
So, let me ask you a question though. Can you get high? Do you get high off of Suboxone?
I do not. If you were naive, what is it called? Naive, opiate naive. Uh, so if you were not taking it and took it like in a high dose, it does have the naloxone in it, which kind of caps that off. So you can't really overdose off of it. So I think like you could take 3 8 milligram pills, and after that, the effect is null and void. Like it doesn't get you can't do anything with it further than that. But a lot of people will use it on the streets just to get through until their next high, to keep from being sick. But I don't really hear of people using it to actually get high. But like I said, it will make you feel better. So if you were not using and had those receptors all empty and you took it, you're going to feel better, not necessarily high like you would on heroin,
Right. Right.
but you're going to feel better. Absolutely. And then for me though, I've been taking it so long and my body's used to it.
Right.
There's no amount in the world I could take that would get you high. And you can't put it into Edel, if you know what I'm saying,
Right.
because it has that naloxone in it. So it's called a blocker. So it stops that euphoric effect. So they have what's called Subutex, which doesn't have that blocker in it. And that's what was originally used for like pain management, that type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And they also use that for pregnant women because they can't take naloxone. But yeah, it has it's got that fail safe in it. So if you took 4 or 5 pills, it's going to be the same as if you took one.
Oh, okay. So what would happen if you were to take an opioid and a Suboxone? Like if you were just to wake up in the morning, you take your Suboxone, but then you take an opioid an hour or two later, what would
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
you get high off of
You
cannabis?
wouldn't. Nope,
You
that's what that blocker is for.
Oh,
Okay.
And you could take, there is like you could break that the blood brain barrier if you took enough, but you're dancing with death at that
Right,
point.
right. So there is absolutely no benefit in taking an opioid when you're taking Suboxone.
Right. Correct.
That's a wonderful thing. And have you ever been? So you said that you have been on morphine. I don't mean to hijack the conversation, guys, so please jump in. But the so if when you were on methadone, because I think you said you were on methadone, yes?
Correct.
Okay. The methadone, did that, and I'm sorry because I've been reading the chat and stuff. So you went from methadone to Suboxone, and why was that? I'm sorry if you told us and I didn't catch that.
No, I didn't. So methadone is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Now that there isn't really, there's not really like a set dose like that. Like for me, I was on a really super high dose and it was very numbing, and you could, if you took a little bit more, you could definitely get high. It's not, it's helped a lot of people over the years stay sober, but it doesn't compare to Suboxone. Suboxone, I feel like is a little bit more medically, they figured it out. But the methadone, like I said, if you doubled your dose, you would definitely feel like you could get high. It's supposed to be a little bit of a blocker, but I never experienced that myself. And
Well,
it
aren't
is
they very? Don't
really
you have to? I'm sorry. Don't you have to
be
take
off of
it in
it.
front of the person, like drink it in front of the person?
No, you do at first, but they provide you with take homes after a while if you show that you're clean and sober. They'll give you. I had weeklies where I would just go in one day, drink it in front of them, and then they would provide you the weekly doses to take home and put it in your refrigerator and drink at home every day. So it really depends.
Wow. So Wendy says that she took methadone for 3 years and she stayed in a constant high. She didn't seek
Yeah,
drugs
I agree.
because she didn't need it. So do you think that you will be on Suboxone forever? Is that going to be something you're going to be on forever? And does insurance companies pay for it? Because I know once upon a time ago they did not.
Yes, insurance does pay for it. It's one of those things you don't even need a prior authorization for anymore, because they would rather you be on that than being in expensive detoxes all the time. And it's a little bit, when it first came out, it was very expensive because they weren't allowed to make the generics. So now they're allowed to make the generics and they're not as pricey. So that is covered. Yes. I have a $2 copay with my insurance.
Oh, okay. So I think I got to give credit where credit's due. We were bashing the insurance companies and all that before, and this is a good thing, in my opinion. This is a good thing. So I hope that that's something that will continue as they're messing with stuff as far as Medicaid and stuff like that goes. Well,
Medicaid definitely is, they definitely cover it. I have in the place that I go to is actually an online place. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that for new people because I feel like you need to be around folks and be inside the counseling sessions so people can actually see you and make sure. But there's a lot of folks that are on that Medicaid program that are in there and they don't pay anything. So definitely covers it. And you asked me, Toddie, if I think I'll be on it forever.
yeah.
I don't think I want to answer that. I think I want to, no, it's not that I don't want to answer it. I just personally wake up every day and decide to take it. And if I decide that I want to get off of it one day, I want to leave that that option available.
Sure.
Myself.
What would that look like getting off of Suboxone? What would that, you've been on it for 12 years, you've taken it as prescribed. What would be the process of getting off of it? And
so you wean down. So most folks start at like 16 milligrams, which is 2 8-milligram pills. I currently sit at 2 milligrams a day, which is just a little tiny piece of that. So it's just about weaning yourself down so you don't feel the side effects. It's the same feeling as getting off heroin, the feeling like you have the flu, the sniffles, the cold, but at the low doses, you feel less of that, less and less. So I sit at what I call microdoses, which is 2 milligrams. So they would probably split that in half and then split that in half until there's nothing. So that's really all it is.
Okay. All right. I understand that. It would still be it's still quite difficult because, as we know, there's a mental thing going on as well, and also I want to say almost an emotional thing when everything is tied up into it. It is all of that, isn't it? For real.
Yeah, I'm 100% addicted to taking that every day. And another part of that is they have now what's called Sublocade, and it's just an injection that you take once a month. So you can kind of get rid of that being used to taking that pill every single day. And it's supposed to work just as good. So that's always an option too. I hear that's really great for people coming out of detox. You take that injection, you're good for a whole month. You don't have to decide.
I've heard about that as well. I don't know anybody who's had it. So there's a question here. So would we recommend people, first of all, we're not recommending anything. This is questions. We are not, I don't know anybody on here that's an active counselor. My license is 13 years old and I haven't gotten a new one. So I am not, we're having a conversation here. So nobody is recommending anything. People who have chronic depression, I wouldn't recommend anything. I honestly would speak to somebody.
I think I understand what she's saying, that we wouldn't. So why would we expect people whose medication is working to keep them off of substances? Why would we expect them to? And a lot of, like I said, the probation officers out there that don't really understand the medical part of it. They just see it as switching one drug for another. They see that it's in the jails. They see people selling it out here. So they highly suggest that if you're on it, you get off of it as soon as possible. And especially if you're in their systems. I know here where I live, they won't allow you to be on it in the jail. And they do require, if you're on probation, that you get off of it, which is crazy to me. But I see what she's saying there.
Yeah.
I do know that they don't allow this. They don't want you to detox in the jail because they don't want to be responsible for you medically. And there's certain things that you can't just detox from like that in the jail. But after you've done detox, what they consider detox,
Yeah.
which is basically, stop shitting on yourself and the shakes. Well, not even, you keep the shakes and you might shit on yourself a little bit, but the habitual part is over. They will just throw you back into a cell block and say, suck it up, buttercup. So, and that's got to be incredibly, incredibly hard. Crystal, let me tell you something that you speak very well and you're very informative and you're able to explain yourself to where the layman can understand exactly what you're talking about. So I really appreciate that.
Yes,
I
definitely.
really appreciate that.
Well, thanks for having me on, ladies. I do appreciate it. I have to get to work today, so I do have to get going, but see you guys all later.
Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day. And I,
Of course.
again, appreciate you.
Love your show, Toddie. I watch you every morning.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. You're welcome on anytime. Thank you. Have a great day. She got herself off. I was almost getting ready to kick you off because the remove button changed to you, Rebecca Michello. No, because it just did because Crystal pulled herself down. So I didn't have to remove her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no offense, just my experience. I just like that doctors teach people there's something wrong with our brains. Here's an interesting thing. And this is why we have these conversations, PJ. This is one of the reasons why we have these conversations. So I just like the doctors teach people there's something wrong with our brains, hence like that chubby. I don't know. That's the question to be answered, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if you read too many novels, they would just throw you in the insane asylum.
POs all the time how medication helps my clients. So that's interesting. Somebody's going through this, guys. So wanted to share that in the comments. Anybody else want to come up? Anybody have stuff? Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything that they would like to bring up or talk about? I think that's hugs. I'm not sure. And anyway, anybody else got anything to say? Good morning, Sue. I feel alone, people. Any books or suggestions for family members that have loved ones in active use? Or, funny you shouldn't mention that. I do have a book that I would like to share with you guys, and it's not one of mine. Give me a second because it's right over there.
Wonderful.
So what color did you decide to go with on the painting, Rebecca? Said you had to love the painter.
I chose a gray for the whole downstairs, kitchen, dining room, living room, hallways, whatever, because I wanted it all to be one uniform color.
Right.
And, going up the hallway upstairs and the upstairs hallway. And then each bedroom is a different color. My granddaughter, I don't know if you're familiar with my daughter, Brianna. I have a granddaughter, Eliana. She's going to have her own room, and she chose a light purple.
Of course, I can see
my
that.
daughter, Nikki, chose a darker purple. For my bedroom, I chose a light pale blue. And for the extra bedroom that I'm calling I don't know what room, I chose a pink because I can do whatever I want in there. It's going to be pink and sparkly. And
there you go.
That's going to be the room I hang out in when I feel like I need to talk on the phone or something. And then I also have a studio outside in the garage, but I haven't decided. I know the backdrop is going to have, something, in reference to my book that I wrote, Can You Hear Me Now? That'll be my backdrop. And then I think I'll make that room, like in memory of my son and my grandson. So I'll have a lot of memorabilia, pictures, whatever you want to call it, of the two of them in that studio. So
That'll be lovely. I can't
it's
wait to see that.
exciting. I haven't owned a home in a long time, so I'm very, very excited.
Right on.
So
Yeah. So what book have you got, Toddie?
oh yeah, the book. Oh, I can't hear Toddie. Can you hear her?
No, you're muted, Todorino. Muted.
Now, if people start calling me Todorino, I'm coming after you.
Oh boy, look what you started.
So
It's only because when I eat one of those bagels from New York, as soon as I open my mouth to say, "Oh,
I'm
this
not
is good," I
Italian.
end up saying, "How you doing?"
okay, so this book is a daily meditation book. So do you guys are you familiar with the daily meditation book, Rebecca and or Jamie?
No,
No.
no.
So daily meditation book is a book that you read it every day. So it's dated. And the original of this book is in my nightstand, and it's got to be 30 years old. I got it when I was working at the jail. And this one is unique because this one's called Nightlight. And the goals behind these books were basically about addiction, to help people get through addiction. And I couldn't really relate to that. So this one was more about, life, just life. So like, I'll give you a good example. So this one, so what's today's date? May. So this we'll read May 11th because it's a nighttime reading. This one's a nighttime reading. Let's see what it has to say. So this one, I'm not going to read it because it's about Mother's Day, and I don't want to get into that because that's a whole different thing. So we're just going to stay away from that one just because it's about Mother's Day, and that's not good. Okay. So we'll go into, let's see, April 5th because it's open here. Okay. For peace, so you would read this at night before you go to bed. For peace of mind, resign as general manager of the universe. How much did we try to control today? Perhaps on our way to work, we shouted in frustration at how other people drove. Later, we may have attempted to control our boss, coworkers, cashier, children, our spouse, telling them what we wanted. Perhaps now we're ready to collapse in exhaustion from a day of trying to be director of everyone's play. Instead of managing everyone else, we should be managing only ourselves. First, we have to catch ourselves when we feel the urge to control others. We have to discover what is best for us instead of someone else and do it. We have to stop focusing on people's problems, even if they want us to. We have to look in the mirror and see ourselves for who we are. Tonight, we need to realize our director is our higher power, who gives us the play we're in and the ability to act. Although many other people may share the stage with us, it's not up to us to direct them. They have their own direction. I will ask my higher power for direction, and I will not control others. So that's what that says for April 5th. And then you would read, like, the next night you would read April 6th, and then it's a daily meditation book. But this one again is special because you read it at night. Most of them are morning meditations, and they focus solely basically on sobriety. So it's hard to relate if sobriety is really not your issue, but just struggles in life. So the name of this book is called Nightlight, and you could also get the Kindle version. I have the Kindle version, and I just purchased a Morning Light, which I haven't started yet. But it's by Amy Dean, and it's one of the Hazelden Publishing. If you guys, I love the book. I have no affiliation with this book. It's just something that I've given it as gifts to people, because it's been nothing but so helpful to me, So anyway, it's a great book.
Great. That's good.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
You know how a lot of people like read their horoscope to get an enlightenment per se. I was reading my horoscope not to see the future, but more or less to get an enlightenment, you know what I mean? And then somebody showed me just a regular meditation book, and I was like, oh, So I bought one and I would get stuff out of it, but then I don't know, I was meant to find this one, and this one has just really changed my life. It's really just something that strives me to reminds me to be a better version of me,
Right.
you know.
Great.
So
Cool.
yeah. So anyway,
Well, that's
I'm
what we
glad you
always,
guys
that's what
like
we
it.
all need, is just to be better than we were yesterday, but not half as good as we'll be tomorrow. I've been living my life by that slogan, Toddie.
Oh
It's changed the
boy.
whole world.
You know, it's so funny because you know, my friend, when she heard me say that, she's, you know, I have friends outside of this world, right? So, and they watch the channel, and I've asked them, you know, just whatever you do, just don't say that you know me personally, and be as honest as you can be, and don't defend me. Whatever you do, don't defend, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see people that know me defending me against people that don't know me, and then it becomes a big mess. So, but they
Right.
watch, and usually I'm like, if you got something to say, you could say it on the channel, but you know, I don't want people to know that we know each other. So now they just do it over the phone, like, and so they'll criticize, or they'll say, or they'll be like, I loved your show. And so my friend, who I've known for over like 50 years, she was like, where did you get that? You know, like, 'cause you need to say that at the end of every show. She was like, you know, this was, you know, almost a year ago. She was like, where'd you get that saying? And I was like, you know what? It just came out of my mouth.
Wow.
And it just, I don't know, it was a gift. It was some, so it wasn't, it was just, it just came out of my mouth. And so I go with it, because, you know, when things like that happen, I think that that's honest, right? It's
Hmm.
when you haven't thought about it, but it's your first reaction, and it's just like, wow. And then you think about it, and it's like, wow, you know, I like that, you know, that's who I am. So it is something I say, but I didn't get that from anybody. And I did get the I'm Toddie one skipping, you're not. Clearly, I got that from Chevy Chase. I mean, but there's people that didn't never saw that, and they're like, oh, I love that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to copyright on that. I have nothing to do with that. Yeah, that one I didn't. Thank you so much, Millennial. Guys, you know Millennial's channel. Do you know Millennial's channel?
Love 1980
I've
Millennial
heard of her.
Commentates.
Rebecca, you
I've
should check it out.
Yeah, I got it. There's a lot of checking out I need to do. You know, I'm a little, when it comes to this stuff, it takes me a minute to figure it all out, you know, and find things, but I'm getting better.
She does some Gypsy Rose stuff that's critical and funny, because she has a way of, she's got a laugh after a thing, like a sarcastic, snarky, almost like laugh after
Oh,
she
yeah.
says.
Her
But
laugh.
the thing is that unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. Unfortunately, I think her family was like taken advantage of by Gypsy. Like,
Oh,
so
boy.
she has real family that was taken advantage of. So,
You know, speaking of Gypsy, I think I brought it up on one of your shows. I don't know if anybody in her little clique watch you. I think they probably do, to try to see what you're doing. But I offered to help her out a little bit and give her a little advice as a mom, you know, like, she looks
please
stupid.
don't, we like you. We don't want anything
Yeah,
to
don't
happen
get
to you.
involved in that.
I know. Then I'm afraid she might off me if she doesn't like what I say, you know, because that's her thing with moms, I guess. But my God, you know, when Brianna goes on TikTok, I'll text her while she's on. I'm like, you look stupid right now. Don't do, you know, like, don't do that. I'm giving her my motherly opinion, you know. I said, gosh, somebody needs to tell Gypsy, like, she looks like an ass a lot of times. Like, you look stupid. You
I
know, we
think
know
that
we know what you did. And you're here acting like a Kardashian or something, like you're just this elite celebrity or something. Look, you were a convicted felon, okay? You did something really bad. You're not a celebrity. Like, go home, take care of your kid, crawl back under the rock you came out from under, and be gone. You know, blend into society. Don't make a spectacle of yourself. Like, that's my advice to her. I hope she hears me. Anyway, if you guys don't see me tomorrow, you know she heard me.
So, Sue, I don't know what to tell you about the pain. I don't know what kind of pain you're talking about here, but
Boy.
that should be the last thing that you're thinking of.
Absolutely.
And there's help numbers if that's where you're at. And, you know, again, we're not counselors here. I'm an
No.
ex-counselor.
Mhm.
If you are this bad with, you're really considering that, please get yourself some help. But also just remember that the scenery will always change. It will always, always, always change. You just gotta hang on.
And if she needs somebody to talk to, my email address, you know, you can email me. I always, almost all the time, exchange phone numbers for anybody who emails me, and I'll talk on the phone with somebody or a text, even if it's just somebody to talk to. I'm not a counselor. I can't do anything, you know, but I can talk. If
It's
Sue needs
3,
somebody
right?
to talk to.
Rebecca
Rebecca
Mitchell.
Mitchell03 at Gmail. Yes.
Okay, I'm typing it in.
And Rebecca has found her purpose in life right there, God-given purpose.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I just want to help people. I don't want anybody to go through the things I've gone through. If I can just be there to talk, I'm here.
Mhm.
So there, we have that up there. Wow.
And I don't know what Sue is going through and if she wants to share, but I mean, there's always a reason for her to be here. You know, she doesn't have to think like that.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that might be why. I don't know if that's the same Sue, to be honest with you.
Oh, she lost her mom and kids.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's the same Sue that said that was.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think so. Well, I'm sorry to
Yeah,
hear that.
it is her. It is her. Sorry, very, very sorry to hear that.
Tough. I know what loss is. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It's I still have some dark moments. Trust me. There are times when I say, I hope I don't wake up tomorrow, and then I do, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess there's a plan for me to be here. Here I am. So I'm going to make the best of each day. But loss is tough. I don't know how she lost them, but I don't know if they've gone, or I don't understand her loss. She didn't say how she lost them, but I don't know if they're no longer here or, what the circumstances are, but loss is tough.
So Leland, I don't know. I mean, if you have your suspicions, then I would say there's something to be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say. I don't know this person, but I know that if you have your suspicions, you probably, have something to be concerned about. If there's money missing, if there's time missing, if there's, if behavior has changed, yeah. So that would be the thing that would tell me, to be honest. This is from Sue again. The loss of my mom and kids barely talk to me. I don't get to see my grandkids. Okay. So they're not physically gone from this earth, but they're physically gone from your life. And I'm not saying that that's any easier.
No.
I'm not saying that
No.
that's any easier. The only thing that makes it a little bit easier is that there's still time and hope and a chance.
Right.
And that is good, because the other way, that's done. And you got to kind of make that connection on your own, so while these people are still here, if this bothers you, and listen, there are things I don't share about my family, but there's family members I don't speak with.
Right.
And I don't want to get into it, but I had to be okay with, if they pass on and this is the way it's ended, am I all right with that? And I'm all right with that. That would be the first question that I would ask myself if I was like going to let people walk away from me and not fight for them, and or if I was just going to push people away because I felt they were toxic and I no longer wanted that in my life. Was I going to be okay if the if the ending was permanent, if that's the way things were? And I have shared this. My dad will be dead for 4 years coming in June. And for about 4 or 5 years, we stopped talking. And then the last 2 years, or the last 18 months of his life, we reconnected again. And I'm grateful we did. And when he passed on, we were talking and everything was okay. But I thought, man, what would have happened had it have been? And I was like, I would have been okay with that decision because he forced my hand at something and I couldn't. I couldn't live with myself, and it had to do with drugs, to be quite honest with you. His girlfriend was fucked up on pain medication. And 2 weeks before she was coming for Thanksgiving, my nieces and nephews, she used to pick up and take and in the car and stuff. And 2 weeks before, I'm in the car with my dad, and he's got the car thing, the phone on in the car. So I hear the conversation, and I'm not even eavesdropping. I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and they can't find his girlfriend because she's out using.
Oh.
So I said to him, like the next day, I thought, oh my God, she's coming for Thanksgiving. I don't want, like, she can't take the kids. She can't
Right.
drive those kids.
Mm.
So I called up my dad and he was like, well, we'll see what happens 2 weeks from now. And I was like, whoa, no. There's a problem fucking now.
Right.
And he was like, I don't want to talk about this. I said, well, if you don't talk about it, I'm going to call my brother, and I'm going to call his wife. And I'm going to say what's going on here because those kids ain't getting in the fucking car with her. And I mean,
Right.
that's what it was about. And I still would have stayed by that. You know what I mean? But that's what our falling out came from. It was over something as stupid as that because, and she was fucked up.
Mm.
She was fucked up when she came. So, but I missed a lot of the chat. But anyway, so I didn't mean to miss a lot of the chat, guys.
No, that's fine. I just want to say to Sue, email me. I can talk more, one-on-one with you. Like I said, I'm not a counselor or anything, but I'm just somebody that can talk. I have a lot of things I've learned in life, and I'm here to talk. And you should be around. There's a reason for you to be here. And, don't think like that. Those grandkids are going to get older. They may reach out, if your daughter or son doesn't, you need to be around.
Yeah, there's a lot of love for you in the chat. And this isn't always easy, but I know that changing the perspective, listen,
It's hard.
our mind controls everything. You know what I mean? Like our mind controls everything. If I didn't believe in God, God would have no importance in my life. That's a huge thing because God has such a huge importance in my life. But if I changed my mind and was an atheist, God would have no importance in my life. So that's just the matter of a mind change. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important that we understand the power of our own mind. It's not easy, but a lot of it is in the way that we think about things. When I told you guys, I think I shared this with you, that my therapist said to me, I never once thought, I always felt bad for my mom and because my mom had a hard life and stuff. And my therapist finally said to me, hey, how old's your mother? And I told her, and she was like, yeah, well, guess what, Toddie? She's gotten along 85 years without you. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
She's gotten through 80. That was when she was 85. And I thought, and that changed my mind. That was my way of thinking. Just like the time I was in the elevator and I thought, why was my boss such an asshole? Why did God put this guy on earth for me? People come into our lives for a reason. Then I realized, why come into people's lives for a reason? I came out of the elevator with a different mindset. So that's a very important thing. As long as you have like a clear mind, you know what I'm saying? Like, and always you should think about things. You should never just act upon things. Always think about things, especially when you're feeling low, especially when you're being challenged. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm trying, Leland, to catch up with your messages here.
Oh, Leland, baby, I just want to say to you, know your worth, darling. It's not looking good. Know your worth.
Yeah, so I would check into that.
Mm-hmm.
At 25 years of marriage, ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him. And I would think if somebody after 25 years of marriage might not be telling you the truth, then I would think you might not want to admit it, but I think you know it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you absolutely have worth, Leland. You have worth. A
Oh
lot.
yeah, absolutely. Why would she think she doesn't have worth?
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, guys, what else? Just reach out, there's help. So this is truth. Look, read that.
Yep.
That's hard. People don't realize how hard that can be for people. It is. I went through a stage like that. I refuse to call it depression, to be honest. I'm not saying I didn't feel it, but I wouldn't give it the power of labeling it that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got news for you. That was before I was diagnosed with the Lyme. So I think that Lyme had something to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I just had no energy and I just couldn't be happy about shit. It was just, it was not a good thing,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I used to be really bitter with just my lot in life because my dad's disabled. I take care of him. My daughter's disabled. I don't really take care of her, but it's still a hard thing, and now my mom's gone and it's all on me. And I was so bitter for the longest time. And then I started to realize that, God put this on me for a reason. There's a reason that I'm supposed to feel this or do this. There's something for me to learn behind this. And at that point, the bitterness just went right away and I embraced it. And now that's my biggest flex.
That's it. It's all about the way you think. That's what
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly about the way you think about things. 1,000% sure. Yep. 1,000% sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this, here, wait a minute. There was something that I thought okay. So there was that. I missed that because here it is. The best phrase, I thought this was something else. The best phrase I learned years ago, we don't believe everything we feel. That's pretty powerful. I never heard that. I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. And here's another thought, and this is so true. You don't have to accept every thought that comes through your mind.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And these are very powerful slogans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, especially, I feel that, Kelly, when something comes across my mind that's not necessarily so good, that wants to bring me down or make me feel bad about my situation. I let it go.
I agree. Crystal Penny, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anytime, you are always welcome. You gave a lot of good information, things that I certainly didn't know about. Suboxone was, it was fairly new when I was a drugs counselor. Methadone was a thing. So thank you and have a good day at work. And thank you so much. Leland, you have value. You have worth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to read that. Toddie, when you shared that the other day, it gave me a new perspective on my relationship with my own mom. I don't remember what I shared the other day. My mom and I didn't have the greatest relationship. She went through her own struggles. It took a long time for me to realize that, but that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sue, I'm going to ask you to send that to Rebecca because I can't read long things. I'm not trying to be rude. I also have to send out those letters today. So I'm not trying to be rude. I seriously, I'm not trying to be rude at all. I just get a lot of email. I don't want to be the person that keeps your email waiting and waiting and waiting. So
nope, I can definitely answer right away. And, I can always share with Toddie behind the scenes so we can talk about it next week if Sue wants. So I'll definitely send me the email. I'll deal with it and do whatever I can.
Mhm.
So that's Rebecca Mitchell03 at gmail.com.
Yes.
And for Sue and Leland and everybody else in the chat that's really going through it, we care about you.
We
This
do.
community,
Absolutely.
we care about you.
Absolutely. That's what this is about, guys. This is
Yeah.
a community that we're building, that's a safe place on Mondays that hopefully will
Mhm.
give a place for people to go and to, to give you guys a place to land on Mondays, to talk about things and be around people that are caring in a safe place.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
So you can rewire your brain, it rewires itself. This seems interesting. Toddie1skip@gmail.com is my email. Leland, I'm sorry that you're going through that. I hope I hope you're incorrect. I hope it has something to do with a surprise for you, but you would know better. And then if God forbid it's not, I hope you have the strength to change the scenery, for you to change it on your terms.
Yep. You can do it. You are strong enough. All right, y'all. It's almost 10 o'clock. I got things to do, so I'm gonna bounce off of
Yeah, I'm
here.
getting
Thank
ready
y'all
to head
so
off
much
too. I
for
don't
letting
really
me
want
pop
to
up.
talk about my Lyme. It's fluid. That's all I can say is, I only found out I had it a few years ago, so there's things that I'm still learning about it. And
Mhm.
yeah, I know all about, like, they're not spirals, they're called something else, and there's other things. Yeah, I try really not to think about the Lyme unless I'm having a setback from it, because it's nothing that makes me happy. I don't know how else to put that, but I didn't want to just ignore that.
Right.
Okay, so Jamie, you're skedaddled.
I'm out. See you guys. Love
All
everybody
right,
in
so
the
you have a
chat.
good day. Yeah.
Much
Bye.
love to you and
You
Rebecca.
too,
Thanks,
Jamie.
guys.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, Jamie.
See ya.
Thank you. All right, so we got rid of that one. Plan. I have even more. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for all the love and the. Thank you for that. Thank you for all the love in the comments and stuff. Rebecca, anything you want to talk about specifically?
No, I think we've covered everything and then some. I think today was one of our better days on here.
Absolutely. I have to say so too. And I'm really happy with today's engagement with people.
I just want to say the first person that came on, Jenny, I happened to go on Facebook like I do every morning, and she was on there posting about her 14 years clean from fentanyl. We're Facebook friends. I know of her from living in the small town that we all grew up in and stuff. So I kind of know who she is and who she's married to. Never knew that about her, though. I didn't know her story. And when I saw that, and it happens to be Monday morning, I quick sent her a message and told her what we do.
Right.
And I said, you should watch it sometime or come on, never thinking it would be today. So
Sure.
when I saw that pink hair, I thought, oh my God, she came. I was so happy.
That's great.
And I told her I'm happy she's still here and that she got herself in order. It was just, some things are meant to be. Things happen, and seeing her post, and then I sometimes I don't reach out to people because I don't want them to think I'm trying to promote this show or something, but I explained to her why we do it and what it's all about. And I was just happy she came on,
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. You didn't put a damper on anything, Leland. I just don't want you to borrow sorrow if there's nothing going on. And I think you kind of need to find out what's going on and kind of take it from there.
The only thing I could say is you got to just confront him with what you're thinking. probably, if he is doing something, he's probably not going to be honest, you know. And I hate to be the, you know, raining on your parade person, but I mean, if you've been with this person for that long and you kind of have a feeling, I hate to say it, but you're probably right. You know, unfortunately, you know, and you just have to understand that
Yeah.
he's probably not going to be truthful with you. So
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
So let me just tell you one thing that I'm not, and this is I'm probably going to lose half subscribers here.
Oh no.
Here's what we'll rebuild. At least people will know. Here's one thing. I am not a person that comforts for too long. Like, do something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here to comfort you, but if it's just to keep comforting you and you're going to suck my energy and continue the same behavior, I'm not into that. So I'm there for people. And I think it would go with the chat too, to be honest with you. Like, I would love to see change. That's what this is for.
Right.
And I feel like I don't want to be the place that just somebody comes to and complains and gets it out of their system for another week of taking it in and then getting it out of their system and then taking it in again. And like, you know, just keep with a vacuum cleaner. I'm not that. I'm about change. So even if it's slow change, I just want to see in the direction of forward. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, you know, some people say, well, you're compassion. No, I'm here for that. But I don't want you to suck energy out of me to go ahead for your behavior to continue, for their behavior to continue. And then you're going to come back sucking more energy out of me to give it to them. No, it's not helping anybody here. It's actually ruining two more people, you and me. So, yeah, I'm about those changes. And that's what, you know, that's what's important to me. And if that seems harsh, I'm sorry. I'm going to be 62 in a couple of weeks. I'm a Gemini too. I'm going to be 62. I just don't have the time. There's got to be change. You know what I mean? There's got to be change.
Right. My hope would be the people that come here and talk, and, you know, we give them our thoughts and, you know, our experiences. I hope they can learn something and better themselves and change their situation and then come back on and tell us the good stuff. You know, we don't just want to hear the bad, you know, we want to hear the good too.
So this is interesting. Were you able to read it? How do you deal with an alcoholic mother-in-law? I mean, it makes me want to jump up and leave the relationship, and I don't want to leave my Beyonce because he's not the problem. It's his mom. He's going to have to make a choice. I mean, that's what I would have to say. And again, we're not counselors. You know, Jen's mom was an alcoholic, and I really, after the first time that we had they came for Thanksgiving. Her uncle and her mom came for Thanksgiving. And we had a wood log cabin. And the bedrooms were carpeted. And it was a 3-bedroom. And upstairs was the bedroom. And then downstairs, Jen had an office and I had an office. And that's where her mom and her uncle stayed. Her mom stayed in her office. Her uncle stayed in my office, and they were drunks. I'm sorry to say they were drunk, and I have a real hard time dealing with that. But they came and they had, like, they were burning candles like on plates on the floor, and there was wax on the carpet. Like the house could have gone up. It was, and I remember I said to Jen, "No more, man." So when there was opportunity for Jen to see her mom, I would take her, or Jen would go. I just couldn't anymore.
That's what I was going to say. You know, don't leave your fiance. Just limit your time to being around his mother. That would be my, you know, thought. That's what I would do. I wouldn't want to leave the relationship if it's not him. And I would just explain to him, listen, if you're going to do holidays, whatever, with your mother, I don't want to be there. You know, don't ruin your relationship with him. Just limit your access or her access to you, the mother-in-law. That's how I would deal with it. I don't know if that's right. It's just me.
Yeah, I would deal with it the same way, to be honest with you. I would deal with it the same way. You don't have to make a choice. Yeah, I'm not asking you to make a choice. I'm just saying I am not in that choice. I'm pulling myself out of that choice.
Yeah.
And because it was hard on Jen. And Jen had a drinking problem too. But I mean that didn't make it easier. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like, but it was hard. She didn't burn up she didn't like have wax and stuff. She was responsible, and she knew when to stop. Not that I liked the drinking, but as far as like having carelessness and that shit just drove me crazy, and the
Yeah.
belligerent and the repeating of the conversation, I just can't.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
just
You know,
can't.
I have a few people that I'm not going to say who they are, but I can tell when they're drinking and I have to end phone calls. Suddenly my phone will die. Sorry, as soon as my phone charges, I'll call you back kind of thing, because they're always right when they're drinking, and they repeat, and I don't have the patience for it. Maybe it's my age. I'm getting old, but I can't deal with that. I just can't handle it.
I can't deal. I don't have the patience for it either. So this is when do they live together? And I unfortunately am living with them.
That's tough. If you live in this, in the same house, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah, get another job. I'm not even trying to be funny. If you're able to work 2 jobs, get out of the house, you'll
Yeah.
have more money to save to get the fuck out. That's the
Yeah.
best
That's
way
tough.
that I would say to do it. That is just the best way that I would say to do it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, living in the home with them. I didn't realize that, so it's kind of hard to avoid that person if you're living with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm. Your fiance has to deal with his relationship with his mother too. If it's harmful to him, he has to make changes, and that has to come from him. You can tell him, what you feel he needs to do in regards to his mother, but it has to be his decision. He has to figure it out. If he's taking the brunt of her misery, that's not
Right.
fair. But he has to decide when he's had enough.
Absolutely. That's what I would agree with that. I don't know. Let me see. I think that Lunar, is it that you want to come on now and ask a question, Lunar? Is that the thing? You want to come on now and ask a question? I'm asking. I guess I need to get to the bottom of this.
Um,
I'm waiting
oh,
to get
wow.
it. Yeah. I actually live in a garage. You said permanently I can't work. Oh, well, that sucks. I don't know. Ah, God. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know what to tell people in a position where, well, wait a minute. I don't know, because like there's a lot of remote jobs. I mean, there are remote jobs. There are people that do the Amazon shipping stuff, and there are people, Amazon's always looking for people online. Walmart's looking for people. Is there any way you could do something like that? You're on the computer now. I'm not trying to you don't have to answer that either. I'm just giving you some ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about, because seriously, since post-pandemic, there has been a lot more opportunity for online and remote jobs.
Right.
And there are people that make living off of that, so at least it would be something. It would keep you busy, and you'd be able to have a little bit of money,
I
right?
don't know. Toddie, did you see her? Is Lunar Wolf still here? Because I'm trying, I can look at my phone now and see a comment about she lives in the garage, has no toilet access.
Yep. Yeah, she's still here.
All right. Well, let me just say this. If my fiance had me living in a garage and I couldn't piss, he wouldn't be my fiance. Sorry. Now that's a whole different, no, I'm not handling that very well. Sorry, pal, but now he might just have to go. You might have to just up and leave him then. Why is he leaving her in those conditions? Now that's a whole different story. I hate to get like this, but that's just me. I'm sorry, but no, he shouldn't be. That should be unacceptable. Why is his fiance in the garage with no toilet?
Lunar.
Can't come in the house when the mother-in-law's home. What is going on here? Right? Am I wrong?
No, I'm looking. I don't know the
like that.
situation. I don't know,
And
the
she's
situation.
disabled. She's permanently disabled. She should not be in a garage with no toilet. And that's not. I have to question how much love he has for her. Honestly.
In that situation, yeah, maybe. They could also both be send ScreenYard links so I can talk. Okay. Rebecca?
I'm here. I got nothing, Toddie.
I got nothing. All right,
I'm
hang
here.
on.
I got nothing to
Okay.
do.
All right.
But watch paint dry. So
Okay, well, I can't even do that, but I do have some packing to do in all honesty today, but we're going through some stuff. So I'm going to put the link up. Can you ask a social worker for options for help? You can. It's time to walk. If you can't talk it away, it's time to walk it away. Do you see that? Look at that comment.
yeah, I would think she says she's permanently disabled. I don't know if she's like getting disability, Social Security or something, but there's got to be somebody she can talk to that can help her find better living conditions. Got to be.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's inhumane. I mean,
I put the thing up, babe. I put it up so you could get on. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up there again so that you could try to jump on.
Does she see it? Maybe she didn't see the link.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'll pin it.
All right.
Maybe I didn't pin it. I don't think I pinned it. So hang on. Maybe that's the problem. All right. So let me see. There it is. There it is. I'm technically watching paint dry, working on my painting as I listen. I love your paintings, Millennial. 1980 is a wonderful artist. She did one of me.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
She did one of me. It's right over here. I'll show it to you while we're waiting.
Yeah, let me see. I'd love to see it. Oh my goodness. Wow. I love it.
It myself.
I love it. I don't know what happened to the person that was supposed to come on. Luna Wolf, are you still there? Toddie sent the link.
Do see link. She said that she does see link.
Click on it.
Maybe she said don't see link. The link is right here under me, under my name, under here, right here. Yeah, I didn't do that. You need to say that to 1980 Millennial. 1980 Millennial did that. Why do you keep thanking me? You're welcome. The link's gone again.
Wow.
Hang on. I know because I put Millennial's thing up. Sorry, I'm not good at this.
So Millennial did the painting.
Millennial did it. 1980 Millennial did that for me.
Can you do one of me, but take out my wrinkles and all my bad stuff? That'd be great. I would love to have a talent like that.
Yeah, she does amazing stuff. My favorite stuff that she does is she does landscapes.
Oh, nice.
Landscapes, yeah, that have like tornadoes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she says that Lunar, it's up here, Lunar Wolf, under me, under my face right here on the screen is the link. She could dox herself is what she's saying if she shares a little bit of herself. The device is not connected. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them. You have to connect your mic and camera before I can add them. So we could get rid of your face. We could block your face. I would assume this is you, Lunar, if your name begins with an S. But you're not connected. It says they will need to connect their mic / cam before you can add them to the stream. So I don't know how to
It
do
should
that.
just be like, there should be a microphone and a camera, and if you click on it, then you're unmuting yourself and she should be able to come on. Or at least that's how it works for me.
Yeah, but I think they might have an Android. Hang on, there's something in the
maybe. I
private
don't
chat.
know.
Hang on, there's something in the private chat. It's blocked. No, it wouldn't be blocked from any. There's no way. I mean, I didn't block anything. Do you have an Android? We're talking in the private chat. I'm asking you, can you type in the chat if you have an Android? Because I don't have any ideas about that. Everybody else came up on here. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to come up on here. Nobody's blocked anybody. I promise.
Toddie, it looks, I'm going through the chat. Somebody's asking the book name. I don't know if it's that book that you.
I'm sure it's this book. It's called Nightlight.
Right.
It's by Amy Dean, and it's part of the Hazelden series, and it's a daily meditation book. And there's a new one that I haven't read yet called Daylight. I have it somewhere. It's probably in my nightstand. But also it comes on Kindle, which I have it on my Kindle too. So now I don't ever have to worry about being without my book. Crafted Evidence Podcast. How you doing? How do I edit my browser? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I am not good with this.
Yeah, I have no idea either. I just know that I go on.
I don't know about this. Give me one. Get up. Oh, she's going to come on her tablet. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, the only thing I ask is this person comes on. Let's try to understand the circumstances.
Definitely.
So the fiance lives in the house and leaves you in the garage. I don't know that that's the thing, but let's just give her a chance. And if that's the situation, let's not shame anybody into something that they might not be able to get out of.
Right. No, I mean, I just know me personally. I would have to question his
motives,
commitment to me.
His motives, what's going on. I get that. And he might be in a situation as well.
If she's in a situation and, it's tough. It's probably hard for her to, go elsewhere. But, it's just, that would have to be a sit down with the fiance. We'd have to talk about it. And that would be me. But don't listen to me. I've been married twice and can't even get a third husband. So I'm not the best person to ask.
That's funny. Not funny, but funny. Funny the way you put it. Funny that you have the attitude you have. Not if you were on here crying about it. Then I'd be like,
yeah, no, I know. Like I said, I don't have any, I don't have a degree in any of this stuff that I talk about. I just talk shit, just my life, how I would handle it. And,
that's it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I have heard of the Celestine prophecy collection. Yes, I have. Oh God. What's the other ones that I like? Shit. I forgot the names of them. I'd have to ask. But I have those books too. There's a few other books that are like, I remember one book, you probably know it. Whoever asked me about the Celestine prophecy, what was the Rag Picker? That was the name of that book, The Rag Picker. I want to write that down because I haven't thought about that in a minute. That book is excellent. And every day I wore like a little white for a year. I wore like a little white piece of cotton on my clothes. It was symbolic for the rag picker. You guys should check out that book too. There's a few of those books by was it Ogmandino? I think it is. I think it's Ogmandino that did the rag picker. Hang on, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Somebody here? You're still not connected, Shelly. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. I'm connecting you. So hang on. I'm connecting you, but you got to turn YouTube off because there's an echo. You okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, really loud. How you doing?
Not good, not good. No, it's not my fiance that doesn't want me. He's been trying to not fight with his mom. He's been trying to get his mom to let me in the house. The woman will not let me in the house, period. She's 62. I'm 52. He's 40. He has a job. Yesterday, Mother's Day, was the worst day of my life. If I start crying, I'm sorry. But,
It's okay.
His mom beat the shit out of him and she threw shit at me. She drank 60 to 90 beers a day. And those are those big 30-pack beers. She's an alcoholic. She's abusive. She's very rude. She came out here. She broke a lot of my stuff. And the weird part about it is she gave me permission to move in here, but then all of a sudden her brother passes away a week ago and all hell broke loose. He's been trying and trying to get me to come in the house because he knows I'm disabled. His mom, she absolutely, without a doubt, hates my guts. I don't know why. Maybe it's our age. Maybe she thinks I'm taking her place. I don't know. But we tried to help her. We try to help her clean the house. We try to help her with rent, money, whatever. And she just absolutely just refuses. She calls me a dumb cunt. Excuse me for saying that. She calls him a bastard. It's terrible. It's a bad situation. Him and I are saving up money to get out of here, but it's not easy. I'm permanently disabled. I just recently found out I have ruptured discs in my back and I have to have surgery myself. It's miserable and I do everything I can to get along with this woman, but I don't know what else to do. And it ain't even him because he tries. I mean, he cooks, he does everything for me, but she just won't let me in the house. And I don't know why or what I've done to her. I've done nothing but been nice, but apparently I guess me being nice is wrong in her book.
Well, you need to stop. Well, let me just wait a minute. Whoa. So you need to stop right there. That I know enough to say you need to stop taking that on as it being you, because for as long as you take it on for it being your fault, they're going to let people will let you carry their shame and their guilt and everything else. So you have to stop and say, no, this really isn't me. This is them. And you're also trying to rationalize with an alcoholic. So that's something that will never happen because that person doesn't know how to rationalize because they're an alcoholic.
I mean, yesterday was, like I said, it was bad. I literally had to go in the house and literally she started throwing stuff at me because she was my fiance was in the kitchen cooking me a Mother's Day breakfast. She took the skillet from it. Was, mind you, my skillet. She gave us permission yesterday, not yesterday, but the day before when she was sort of sober, saying we could do all this cooking because it was Mother's Day and he was going to make breakfast for me, her, and we were going to have a nice family breakfast. Instead, she decided to start drinking the beer at 4 o'clock in the morning and it's just been drinking all day yesterday. I hear him saying, please get out of my face. He's being as sweet as kind and possible. And she's up in his face, smacking him, hitting him, yelling at him, cussing at him. And it's awful. I go in there to get between them because she has a habit of saying he hit her. And because I can witness it and I'm sober and he's sober, he never drinks. He smokes weed just like I do. And I do it for pain management anyway. And she was in there getting in his face, smacking him, hitting him for no reason. And he was just saying, Mom, you said we could cook yesterday, which was Saturday, and now all of a sudden it changed. And then she comes in there and she started smacking me in the back, hitting me. And of course, we should have called the police, but then that's just going to cause more of a problem because we've already had his mom arrested several times for domestic violence. Matter of fact, she put a sledgehammer through his bedroom door. She smashed his TVs. She's done a lot of damage, and she's been an alcoholic all her life. And her brother just passed away a week ago from alcoholism. Her father and her mother both passed away from alcoholism, and now she's not doing well. He just recently found out she's got liver cancer or something like that. Well, it's scoliosis. I don't know what it's called, but she's got that going on. And it's just everything. And they're right now at the funeral. He wanted me to go to the funeral. I said I didn't feel comfortable because I'd never met his uncle and I'd been with him. I've met him online. I've, talked to him online and stuff, but I just didn't feel like I didn't want to be intrusive, if that makes any sense. And it was just, yesterday was miserable. I never have had a Mother's Day that bad where there was literal physical fighting between them two, and then her attacking me. And yeah, we should have called the police, but it was Mother's Day, and I know that's not an excuse, but I didn't know what else to do and stuff. And and like I said, he does the best that he can to try to support me. He does try to get his mom to let me in the house, but she absolutely just refuses. I've tried paying her rent and she refuses to take my rent money. But the weird part is she gave us permission. She gave me and him permission that I could stay here. And at the time she said I could stay in the house, but now I don't know what happened. I'm confused. I know
Does your fiance stay in the house or he stays in the garage with you?
He stays in the house, but 90% of the time he stays in the house. But when it gets bad, he'll come out with me in the garage and he'll stay in the garage, but then she locks him out and then she destroys his bedroom. It's what I'm thinking. Maybe she's jealous of me or something. I don't know, because of our age. I'm only 10 years younger than she is. I don't know what it is.
Right.
I don't know if that could be the reason why she's that way with me or what, because I don't know what to do. Today.
Well, you can't stay in a situation that's not safe, and trying to rationalize with someone who's drunk, it's never going to work. They're always going to be right because that's how they are. You have to be safe. You can't afford to be there and have something happen. It's
exactly.
And I don't know the answer. I'm not telling you to go live on the street, but you said you're getting disability? You're currently on disability?
I've been getting disability since I I used to work as a nurse's aide in a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up, I had to retire earlier than normal because I had literally I fractured my back. I tried to lift a 600-pound patient by myself because they told me she was ambulatory when she wasn't, and she slipped, she fell. I tried to catch her. It destroyed my back. It destroyed both my hips. I have a false knee. And now I just recently found out I have a ruptured discs in my back, and they're wanting to do surgery. I do not take no pain meds. The only thing I do is smoke marijuana for pain. And of course, I take my Xanax for anxiety and PTSD because everything that his mom's doing, it throws me back to when my brother and my father were that way. but I never got to meet my father, but I did get to meet my brother, and my brother was just like his mom, but he changed. And we've been trying to help her, but we've realized, and we've been talking to counselors and trying to get help to try to get her some help. And we don't know what else to do. He's been trying even before I stepped in the picture to try to get her help. And she just absolutely refuses. And he told me this morning, or not this morning, but yesterday, that alcohol is going to be what's going to end up taking her out. And of course, it took out the other parts of her family, her uncle, her brother, her parents. And now she's just found out she's stage 3 or 4. I can't remember what he said, but she's got that liver psoriasis of the liver on top of cancer. So, and she's not doing well, and she don't want to get no treatment for her cancer. So, I mean, it's a sad situation, and I just watch every day her wasting away, and she leaves the house driving drunk all the time, and it scares him, and he wants to move out because she tells him all the time, you need to move, you need to move. He's like, I don't have a problem with moving, but then as soon as we get ready to move, then she uses that guilt trip. Oh, I don't want you to, she makes up things so he doesn't move out. And I don't know if it's because of me.
Well, let me just say this. It sounds like to me, and I'm not a counselor or anything, I just have life experience. I feel like if you were out of the picture, they'd be fine. I think it's you. She doesn't want you there.
That's what I'm thinking too.
And
I
so
told him this.
you have to accept that, whether he believes that or not. And you know that that's probably the problem. So you have to take care of you. And if that means, saving up your disability checks, don't pay any rent, don't pay anything, save it and get a place of your own, even if you rent a room. And if he wants to continue a relationship with you, he can come to your new place and you don't have to deal with mom. I think mom doesn't want you there. That's the problem. If you were gone, mom and your fiance would be fine because this is what he's dealt with his whole life and he seems to be okay with it.
That's what I was, and that's what I was thinking. And I've talked to my doctors. I don't have a psychiatrist, nor do I have a case manager. The psychiatrist I had, believe it or not, she quit. And the case manager I had, she quit. And I haven't been able to, and I live in Ohio, and I haven't been able to find a doctor, a psychiatrist, or a counselor, or somebody to talk to. I've just been like making phone calls and talking to people on the phone, like like that 1-800 telehealth. I've been doing all
but
that.
that's what it's there for. Please, that's what it's there for. I have a therapist. I'm going to interrupt because this is really important. So I have never met my therapist face to face, and I think we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that woman, I saw her after 2021, and I had those devastated losses in my life, and I was in therapy for 3+ years, and I sat in front of this computer every Friday morning at 9:00, and I met with her. And because I was so determined to get myself better and to make myself understand, I opened myself to hearing. I didn't care that I couldn't see her. I mean, I saw her like I'm looking at you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I never sat in her office. She never touched me. I never shook her hand. I never saw her without a screen in front of us. So, and from my understanding, she lived in a different state than me. I mean, in a neighboring state, but in a different state than me. And that did not hinder my recovery. And
will they take medical? Because I get medical cards.
yeah, like that. I mean, like my insurance did. There's a lot that do. You have to check into it. I have to tell you, and this is something, please don't laugh, guys. This is something that Amazon offers something. A medical insurance. I haven't checked into it because I have medical insurance, but it offers a medical insurance. I think it includes those virtual calls, and also there's a Christian group that everybody pays into one fund. I forget the name of it. Maybe somebody in the chat knows, where everybody pays into one fund and it kind of pays each person's medical and stuff. There's people here that say, I see my therapist via Zoom. I mean, like, if you want to get help, half of it is showing up, man. You got to show up. You got to show up for yourself. If you're going to show up for your boyfriend, if you're going to show up for your mother-in-law, who's going to show up for you? You have to show up for yourself. I found that that was the most important thing that I was not doing. I was putting everybody before me, and look at how it did not work out for me. I mean, I'd like to see that a part of that is part of who I am, and hence this group and the channel and stuff. But people will use you and abuse you if you let them, for no other reason than to make you feel bad, than to make themselves feel better,
And you mentioning that, when I've been here in this garage for like going on, this will be the 3rd month. And for the first month and a half, first 2 months, I was paying her rent like $200 because that's what she wanted me to pay, because she wanted me to save up. And then as soon as things change, like I said, I can't say it's maybe her uncle or her brother that might be causing the reason why she is the way she is now.
That's true.
But I was paying her $200 a month. She was taking it faithfully, no complaints, happy as a lark. That at that time, she was letting me in the house, not all the time. Most of the time when I would go in the house is usually when she'd be at work, because that would be the only time allowed. Because when she gets home from work, she's on her feet all day. She wants to be peaceful, and I respect that. And that was going well for like about 2 months. And then as soon as things started going on with her brother and other things going on in her life, things just completely changed. And it's like she's the 1 minute she's Dr. Jekyll, the next minute she's Mr. Hyde. And usually it's the weekends where it's the most severest. Like now during this week, this whole week, she's not at work today because she had to go to her brother's funeral. Tomorrow she'll go to work. I'll be able to go in the house and do things. But the weird part about it is like I said, I had offered her, I got paid May 1st. I tried to, and she was sober this day. She was sober. Her brother was still alive. And I said, here, Sherry, here's $200. This is what you want me to pay you in rent. This woman had the nerve to sit there and say, I don't want your damn money. You either give me $700 or you get the F out. And I'm like, we signed a contract, our little like receipt thingy saying that this is exactly what I'd pay monthly. And she just out of nowhere just changed. And it's now, since her brother has passed, it's gotten worse and worse. And she's coming out in the garage when I'm at like my doctor's appointments or when I'm at physical therapy. She's throwing my property on the ground. She's broke 2 of my coffee pots. I don't even say nothing. I just kind of let it go, and I don't say anything because I don't feel I have that right to say anything. But in a way, my fiance is like, he'll deal with that situation. And he's told her on a couple of occasions, you broke a couple of her coffee pots. You need to replace them. She tells him to go F himself. Then she starts beating on him. And it's like, I don't even try to say anything. When they start fighting and arguing, I try to stay out of it. But yesterday was the last straw with me, because all I could hear him was saying, and my first instinct is to be in protective mode with him. And all I could hear him say is, get out of my face, stop smacking me, stop. And I just got protective. And I've been with this man for 15 years, and I've had apartments in the past, but I've lost my apartments because of my own fault. I will admit it's my fault. I just recently, now the one apartment I lived in, it was a nice little apartment, and I began to wonder why my fiance would start acting kind of weird, and I didn't know what was going on. He never explained things to me, but I've lived with his mom and him a few times in the past, and we've never been this bad. We've been bad, but not like this bad. And I was always in the house, but this time.
Can I just interrupt for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead, honey.
You've lived with them on and off a couple of times. And guess what? Yeah. It doesn't work. It's not working.
And I realize that now. And now I feel.
But you've got to get yourself out of that. If you have to go to a shelter for a couple months, a week, whatever, you have to make that move, because he's okay with it. That's his mother and this is his life.
Yep.
You
I
have
did
to help
find
you. It's not
I
safe
have
to be there. She doesn't want you there,
got
apparently.
to see that, and I did find a place, and I'm going to look into it. I've already called him earlier today to talk to him to see if they had availabilities. They said they should have an availability by June 1st. So I told the young lady, I said, okay, well, how much is you're going to be? It's like a little motel out in Vermilion,
Right.
$500 a month. Everything's included, unit, cable, rent, cable, the electric, it's got a little kitchenette. And she said they go really fast because she's the only motel out in Vermilion, and it's like out in country area that will only charge 500. So I checked into it and I told her, well, can I go ahead and put a deposit down when I, for this, for her to give me? She said she doesn't do that because it's first come, first serve. And trying to get out to Vermilion again is difficult because I don't drive. I have epilepsy. I'm not allowed to drive.
Right.
And I told her, I said, well, I would be definitely interested. And she does accept dogs. I have a service dog. I have a Chihuahua. He's my he's my emotional support
Mhm.
animal, and he's also my diabetic dog. Lets me know when my sugar's low and things. And so she said there's no issue, but again, she said first come, first serve, and that's why she doesn't take the deposit. And so I'm going to keep calling her every day to make sure she still has availability. So when June 1st rolls around, I
That's
can
exactly what I would do. That's
Yeah.
exactly what
I can get out of here and get over there. Yeah, granted, and I understand my fiance's situation on it, and he's not happy about it. But I also told him, if you love me, you're going to let me go and let me be able to live
No,
where
no,
I
no,
need
no,
to
no,
be
no,
where
no,
I'm
no, no,
safe.
no, 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 no. You don't need anybody's permission to go.
No,
Hey,
you're doing
You're
it
just
for
gonna
you.
go because you've had enough.
That's what I
You don't
told
need
him, kind of, but
anybody's
I said
permission
it in
to
a
go.
different way to make him feel better because I didn't want him
You
to think
know,
I was
maybe by
leaving
you
because of him.
leaving, he'll see the light and do things.
Hopefully, he'll do the same
Stick
because
around and wait for that.
yeah, he hopefully he will because he's wanting to move out to the country. Him and I have, yes, we have talked about it, about moving out of the state of Ohio and moving out to PA because he's got a cousin out there that's got land that he's willing to let me and my fiance live on. And yeah, I call him my fiance. We've been engaged, as you know. I don't. We've been together 15 years. We've been engaged for over 10 years. Partly because we can't afford to get married, and partly too because I'm not really. I've been married twice. Both my marriages ended in one was a domestic marriage. I was abused 24/7. I was a slave. That was my first husband. My
Shelly,
second husband.
Shelly, I'm not really trying to cut you off, but we've been doing this for like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
All
The
righty,
main
I
thing, wait a
understand.
minute, wait. Because the main thing isn't how you got here. The main thing is here you are.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get yourself from not being here? So you need to live through the past in your mind, and you need to look at it and say it's toxic. What you've talked about is a toxic relationship between the between your boyfriend and his mother and you, and you went back to it, and now you're in it, and it's even more toxic because the drinking's excelled, and there's been a loss and a diagnosis, which half the people in the chat are saying that's the problem here. So there is nothing you can change except anything you could change about you. I wouldn't worry about your boyfriend, or
No,
you have to decide, is your boyfriend more important than you? And if the answer is yes, then you have to suck this up and accept it. If you are
That's
not,
the
if
point.
he is,
He's not that important, and that's why I
then
called.
you
And
have to focus on what you're doing and get out. And maybe a shelter is something you need immediately, because when there's hands on, I mean, that's ridiculous. Then maybe a shelter is what you need. And I would think through the shelter, you would find other resources. I'm not saying that's ideal, but there's a bathroom in a shelter.
it's
There's
got
a
to be
shower
better
in
than,
a
yeah,
shelter.
better than what you're dealing with.
exactly. And see, the only thing with the shelter is I don't have an issue with that. I would be gladly to go. My thing is my service dog. They don't allow service dogs in shelters, even with all the paperwork and all that. It's just the rules they have because of allergies and that. And I have checked into a couple shelters for him to go to. And it's expensive just for my little chihuahua to stay in a shelter for a month. Here in Ohio is almost a grand just because they provide food, and that's not an issue. But I make less than $1,000 a month, and I want to save money. So, and I'm not using that as an excuse. I have talked to a couple people that are good friends of mine that would take him in. So I've been looking into that as well. And this morning, like I said, it was the last straw. I told him, I said, look, I can't deal with it no more. I got to move. And that's my plan. That's why I'm going to keep calling this motel in Vermilion every single day. Make sure there's a home, there's availability. And as soon as I get that, yes, there's an availability, I'm gone. I'm out. I'm going to go somewhere where I know I'm going to have a bathroom, where I'm going to have a kitchen to use, and where I'm able to have my service animal and not have to stress and worry and deal with that. And of course, that is not my problem that my fiance is a little pissed off about it, but he'll get over it. He always does. And if he don't, then like you guys and I agree, maybe it's not the best relationship for me. And maybe it might be time for me to just call it quits and just move on and maybe try to start all over and try to redo my, not redo, but try to, fix my life more than what I have it doing right now. I've got a lot of things I'm going to do to get myself better. I promise you that. And I'll keep you ladies up to date and about this place. And when I do, and if I get in there, Toddie, you and Rebecca will be
Whoa,
the
whoa,
first
whoa, whoa,
people
whoa,
to
whoa,
know.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. Somebody just jumped on panel that had
Hey,
suggestions.
hey
Uh-oh.
there. I've
I
been
have
listening to
crafted,
you.
sorry, I have crafted, say who you are because half of your name's cut off here. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's okay. This is crafted evidence. I met Toddie last night on
Oh,
Morbid's
hello.
panel. And I've just been listening to you ladies. First off, happy Mother's Day to late Mother's
Thank
Day
you.
to everyone. And
Thank
I've
you.
been listening to you. And I just wanted to offer a couple suggestions. My family has owned properties and have been landlords. And I want to let you know you have the right to live at that home if she has given you permission. She would need to go to court and have you evicted legally and give you a 30-day notice. So she cannot kick you out and keep you in the garage legally. And I think you're trying to be kind and be civil with her by living in the garage, but I want you to know your rights. You don't have to do that. And also, I'm a former cancer survivor, and I think what may be going on with her too is her world is crumbling right now. She's scared. It sounds like hers is more terminal. Luckily, I survived from mine, but I think she's falling apart and kind of taking it out on you and your fiance.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way too, but again, I'm like you said, I'm a kind person. I don't like to confrontate. I
Yeah.
don't believe in that. I do not, I've heard this from this same words that you've told me. I've heard from other people, and again, it's me trying to be the kind, trying to avoid a confrontation with her, to be nice. And I'm glad you kind of, I ain't the only one that knows that I can be in that house. I just
Yeah.
choose to be more, and that's the crazy part. Even my fiance, which is even weirder, he's even told his mom, legally, because you gave us permission, she can be in the house. And she,
Right.
of course, but I try to avoid the confrontation because I have been hit by her. I have ended up in the Genesis house because of her. Um, and like I said, I'm doing everything I can to get out of here as quickly as I can. Um, Granted, I know she can give me, I gotta get that 30-day, but again, it's just, I try to avoid confrontation with her because when she's like that, you can't make any sense to her. she can become very volatile, very violent, very quickly. And I have ended up in the Genesis house because of her, which is a women's shelter for battered women, and it is scary. Um, and I'm going, like I said to Rebecca and Toddie, I am going to do everything I can to get out of here. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
even
I
if it's,
haven't been
for a
paying her no
couple
rent or
weeks.
anything now because she won't take it. So
I think even maybe for a couple weeks, you could consider that. And I know you're worried about your therapy dog. I also have MS, so I know what it's like to have the whole disability issue. I'm so glad to hear you're on disability because, that can take a while to get on. But maybe you could reach out to local adoption dog foster agencies and explain your situation. Say, I intend to fully keep my dog, but I need someone to foster him or her for, 2 weeks until I can get myself into a better situation. And I also dropped some links in the chat. Toddie, I don't know if it saves the links, but when this wraps up, I'll drop them back again. And there's two, I searched Ohio, and I want people to know, like, domestic violence doesn't necessarily mean you have to be physically abused. It can be mental abuse. And clearly that's what you are going through right now.
exactly, and it's not just me, and I know I don't want to bring him up again, but it's just not me that's going through the mental and emotional abuse. He also is going through it, and I think and I believe between the two of us it's about quite even. And he has been told numerous times that he can get a protection from her. And because he's her only child, of course that's not going to happen. He'd rather, and that makes sense. But me, I just can't take it no more. I'm taking I normally don't take my Xanax only as needed, and lately my doctor has prescribed and has asked me to take it twice a day now due to the volatility I'm in. And that's one of the reasons I've been calling everywhere, and I'm thankful that I actually found that motel. And I'm, like I said to Toddie and Rebecca, I'm definitely going to keep calling them every day as soon as I can. My ex-husband, he sent me a message yesterday, not to bring him up, and he said he will send me any money that I need, which again, I don't mind getting the money, but it'll cause problems for him and I. But he would send me money to get me, or he would pay for me a place to go as well.
I would take
It's
that in my dog. I would take that in
Yes,
my
I
dog.
would.
I would take that
And
in
that's
my
what I
dog.
was
No
considering
questions,
because I
because somebody
just
put
got
me
off
in
the
this
phone with him.
situation. I would take that in my dog because I'm more loyal to my dog than anybody in this world, because they're more loyal to me. My dogs would never put me in a situation that seems to be a
Exactly,
situation
you're
that
right.
you were in. I'm sorry to say it, but if you
I
got
agree
somebody
with you,
like that
Toddie.
in your corner, you take that money, you take your dog, you get yourself a little modest place. Show your appreciation to your brother so he knows he's not being taken for
My
granted,
ex-husband.
or ex-husband, and just do the best you can by being a better version of you and leave this shit behind you. I know it's easier said than done. You have 100 people behind
I'm
you
with
here.
you. I'm with you, Toddie. I'm with you. And I just got off the phone with my ex-husband a little bit ago, and I told him what was going on and what happened yesterday. He said, "Give me the time, give me the day. We'll meet up somehow. I'll have my caseworker come meet you somewhere, and I'll give you the money, and you can go. We'll take you where you need to go." So I'm gonna take him. I did try to call him again a little bit ago. I didn't get an answer, but I
Text
know he'll
them,
call me
let
back.
let
So
them know you're interested. I think Toddie's right. That's exactly what you need to do. You can
yes,
pay him
I'm
back
gonna do
later.
that.
Don't worry about paying him back now. Just, you really need to take care of your own mental health, because you're just going to
Exactly.
get more sick physically and mentally the longer you stay there.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and I will do that. Matter of fact, as soon as I get off here, I'll give him a call and make the arrangements with him, and hopefully, I'll call that motel, because when I called her this morning, she had one place available, but she said somebody had called about it. I don't know if they may have taken it, but even if they have, I'll still take the opportunity. I know my ex-husband, if he would, he'll probably take my Chihuahua for me and I'll go stay at a shelter. But at least I know I'm going to take his word and take what he can to offer to get me out of the situation.
Yeah.
Because even
Well,
though,
thank you guys for letting me,
Thank you so much for crafted evidence. I
thank
think we're
you,
really
check the
gonna
crafted
do
button
it.
evidence.
sheets,
Thank you
thinking,
so much.
yeah, definitely. And we'll be praying for you. Keep us updated.
I will
Yeah.
definitely, and I appreciate it. Bless all of you guys, and thank you very, very much.
Okay. All right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Shelley. All right, that leaves us on the table here, lady. Went a little
Wow,
bit
3
longer than
hours,
usual.
Toddie.
Yeah. Good thing I was off the last couple days because I was
Yeah.
not feeling well.
But you know what? We needed to be here that extra time.
Yep, we sure
Somebody
did.
needed us, and that's what we said we're going to do. So that's why we were
Absolutely
here.
true that, my friend. True that. That being said, I gotta go through that bedroom over there.
All right. Sounds good. I'm
All
going
right,
to go
so
watch
good
paint
thing-
dry.
All right, very good. I'll speak to you later. Have a great
All
week.
right.
All
You
right.
too.
Be good,
Thank you.
everybody in the comments and chat. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
We
everyone, for
appreciate
being
you.
here.
And crafted evidence, absolutely 100%. Absolutely so.
That's why we were
so.
here. We
That's right.
stayed
And
to
thank
listen.
you so much. And thank you so much because you offered things that I didn't. And if you want to go ahead, I will post those things inside of the description of this, the links. If you want to go ahead and put them in the comments. All right. And thank you. And so, all right, Rebecca, I'll see you next week, if not before. And everybody else, thank you so much, and be well. And I'll see you next time on the next
Thanks,
one. Be better
Toddie.
than yourself. What do I say? Be better today than you were yesterday, and not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
My head's spinning. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye.